bouncing footy to the square. Jimby got the match up on Curnow. They'll get it back to Brock and out of defence after some early pressure. It'll be Reid. Harley, who tries to clear it out of defence, but Haynes, who's just taking intercept marks for fun in recent weeks, is able to do just that.
He worked back really hard, Harley Reid, to help his defence, but just not the right kick coming out.
Back inside 50, punched by Brock. Guarding Cripps down there. Akers had it knocked away by Jaden Hutt.
Going to be a field position game with this weather. Clearances, both teams will want to come out the front, not muck around with it.
Jinby and Curnow matchups, a good one. Looking forward to watching that. There's Duggan going to Cripps, so he was warming up with the midfield, so it looks like that is going to happen.
We'll throw it in. The Blues forward line. Looked down by Flint. Shearer is tackled. Lane down there. Chikotta getting in. That'll get another stoppage.
Yep, captain on captain. Both got huge roles today to obviously one to nullify and one to expose.
It's just got clear there. It's knocked down McCarthy. Went past it. Looking for his first touch. Cripps in there wrestling. Reid able to extract it. And just burst away from the players. He kicks to space. It favours the Blues though. With a run and a bounce, they can go back and track it, take it away. Spins fed it backwards and get it to Haynes. Go right across. He was under some heavy pressure there from Ryan. Bouncing footy. Oscar Allen gave Silvani an almighty shove, but it was legal. Now Cripps, high ball, inside 50. Ryan the target. Brightman waited out the back. Blues defence swarming. Still a chance for Oscar Allen. Clever little dribble kick through. He tried to get it to Ryan, who lost his boot and the footy at the same time. And Carlton can clear it away. And Curnow with some strong body work.
Good desperation from the Blues defence, and that's a huge win as Ryan's just getting to work on his boot.
To the laces, that's really strong enough to start the game. Now Hewitt shrugs off Jaden Hutt. And they transition the footy quickly. Zach Williams trying to trap it. Well picked up by Fantasia. Into the pocket. Some open space. O'Keefe down there. Just wide. It's going to be a tough marking afternoon for the Forts, and the ball is out of play.
We've got a pretty young side and young experience in West Coast have, and an experienced bigger body side of Carlton. These conditions already, you can see a couple of contests where it just looked a little bit too easy breaking some tackles.
And a brilliant day in Perth. Pretty much up until about an hour ago. The rain started coming in. It's bright sunshine this morning. Conditions now a lot trickier. Stokoning down, only palmed it as far as Baker. Tumbly kick, directed out of defence. It'll go towards the boundary line, and it'll just pitch in play. Jimmy for Marek. Time now to steady. Everything being rushed so far. Brockman had to lunge. Graham kept it moving forward. Haynes involved again, just sweeping back and winning the footy. Pins up towards Curnow. Again, Jimmy wrestling. That job on Jeremy Cameron a couple of weeks ago. Reid back for Allen. Handball through to Graham. Reid crunch. Ran into trouble. Blues threaten to win it back. Hewitt got the arms clear. Haynes needs some support. Carroll, he can gather. They can straighten again now, Carlton. As he looks up inside 50, the delivery, O'Keefe. Punched away by Edwards. Chikotta down there to Koning. They've still got opportunities. To Koning on the boots. Blues with a first.
What a great snap this was from you, Ruckman. Just wonderful. We know how good he is at ground level and covers the ground so well, but it's just a fantastic finish. I think, Simo, you talked about it, how they're just breaking some tackles. You know, they look a bit bigger and stronger in this early part of the match, and they've just had repeat inside 50 after inside 50. So after that much, eventually the damn wall will break. It's a good finish.
Yeah, when obviously the game early on is getting played in Carlton's front half, and West Coast inability just to get a little bit of composure. When it's a 450 stoppage against you, just try and get a composed mark and let the game catch up a little bit. Then a little bit rushed on their exits.
Fourth goal of the season for Tom DeConing. And in the middle, there was a hold. Will go to the Blues.
It's not really their style, though, is it, West Coast? They like to keep the pace and that fast energy in the game. So you're right, in conditions like this, sometimes that can be a risk.
Well, they're still learning. They've got sort of one way of playing at the moment, which when it works well.
Cripps with a long kick. Flynn set up back there. That's a terrific mark. Back there helping out the defence.
It's going to be a good matchup today. Flynn's been better the last 3 or 4 weeks, but once again he's coming against a class ruckman.
Jimmy up the line. Ryan to fly. It's weighted down. Wiedering. Back to Hollins. Turn inboard. It's got Carroll. Opens it up to Chera. They can build. Saad can be lethal off that left boot. He just hoofs a big kick down to the full forward line, but a holding free kick. Jimmy this time against O'Keefe.
Been really solid already in a couple of big one-on-ones, and we saw it. You called it perhaps. Jeremy Cameron, he had the better of him for 3.5 quarters a couple of weeks ago against Geelong, and then Cameron, as he can do, he just went bang, 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 and ended up with 5. But he's looked very solid down there.
Soccer forward by Haynes. Ball past McCarthy, right into the lap of Curnow, who just bellied the footy as he tried the snap, and it'll bounce in the field of play for a boundary throw-in.
Well, this is the start they wanted. You travel, you come over to Optus, get good field position, then number 1 in the contest last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, 8 inside 50s to 1. You heard Michael Voss pre-game talk about, well, if we want a game on our terms to get territory, that's exactly what's happening.
Strength from O'Keefe. Cripps, Hewitt, found some room, and hooking it off the left boot to Koning. Almost swallowed it. Top of the square. Chera. His snap goes wide. In fact, out of bounds on the full. They've had some opportunities.
Yeah, alarm bells if you're West Coast. There's no composure at the moment. We spoke about the fact they don't necessarily look for it, but when this happens, just getting a couple of marks, get a bit of field position, get a stoppage on the wings, probably your priority.
We start well, Carlton. It's the second half that have been their issue in particular this year. Certainly red hot to begin this one. Hewitt, Silvani, Doherty all getting involved. Heaves a kick in again. No one really competed for it in the end. Curnow knocked it down. Gincotto tried to get it across to Motlop. Baker beat him to it. Knocked down. Now McCarthy will get a disposal for the back pocket. The mid-season draftee, long out towards Jack Williams. Knocked it down but didn't get it out of play. Blues can reset and reload. Haynes in short to Fantasia. Very congested forward line. He's waiting for a lead, or he can just let it fly himself. Made good contact to the line. Punched by Jimby. And it won't go for a behind. It rolls away, so it'll be a stoppage inside 50 for the Blues.
Just even that long down the line exit. Carlton with 3-on-1. They're beating West Coast to the fall of the ball, just outnumbering them at almost every contest at this point in time.
Just got to be careful not to get too high as a forward line. They have something to kick to.
Northruck started a long way back. Just got there. Flynn copped a shove. Hewitt in there. Reed coughed up the handball straight to Carroll. Snapping to goal. Bounce important. Clean bowled a few. It rolls away innocently for a behind. See Ruben Jinby.
The gymnastics there. The splits.
Awkward lunge.
Tremendous athlete. He's the fittest player at the club. Big size body. He's probably given away a few kilos though.
There's the responsibility on McCarthy taking the kick-outs in your first game. He's coughed it up. Went on to that contest, to Koning having a pretty big say early.
So the only upside for the Eagles at the moment is that they actually haven't led too many scores. So
Edwards front position on O'Keefe, but at the spill, Gincotto trying to take it. Motlop was just waiting. Opens the door. Cripps can bury the goal of the snap. Was it touched on the line? Might have just got a fingertip on it.
I believe it's a behind. We check the ball is tough.
Give it any loft on the snap.
they've had some opportunities, the Blues. They've butchered a couple. DeConey's dropped mark. Chera's snap, that one there from Patrick Cripps. As I said, it's the silver lining if you're West Coast.
Exactly. The ball's touched before crossing the back of the goal.
Well, you've got the glass half full. I think it's alarm bells, and you're right. The scoreboard is.
Well, it could be 5 goals.
Exactly.
So, but that's the upside. They haven't even started the game yet.
Goal-saving touch there from Sandy Brock. Settled into the Eagles' back line this season. Okay. Now to try to find an option. Ball's basically lived in the Carlton forward half for the most part of this first quarter. Long ball out, knocked down. DeConey gets slipped over, so the Eagles could attack it. And there, Hutchinson, Reed. Out now to Hewitt, and kick charge down.
Well, that's a win for West Coast to get the ball halfway and finally get a neutral position to win a clearance. It's just been a dominant front half display from Carlton. They haven't done this before. They do start well.
And then DeConey again. DeConey with strength. Able to take it and release. Fantasia with a kick inside 50 at an open forward line. It was Missed Curto though. Jimmy can get back first. A huge task for him today. Clean bowls Marek. Away now Baker. Just delayed the handball and a good tackle from Chincotta. The advantage will be played. Goes into the pocket. And directed again. A little wasteful on their entries. The Blues. Bright tackle. Well played McGovern. Opens it up for Fogarty to snap the goal. The weight of numbers in the end. Carlton peppering away and they finally get some reward.
Alarm bells, you're right, Simo. It's a massive concern right now. That defence is all at sea, given how much defending they're just having to do at the moment. So, wonderful tackle here from McGovern. Not a great connection, it's got to be said, between what the Blues were trying to do, but he got back on it quickly, applied a great tackle to Mitch McGovern, and then they hit the scoreboard.
Yeah, Brock could have done a bit better with that ball security, to be honest. And what happens if you're dealing with so much supply on your back line, you do get fatigued. And some of the simple things that are expected, there's no real excuse for that. But that's what happens with the pressure.
Out of the middle, Flynn was able to extract it, get it to Kelly, who found himself at the centre bounce, a kick inside 50. Blues defence had it covered.
Boys, that's just the second inside 50 for West Coast. 13 of the first 15 inside 50s to Carlton. Simo, what would you be doing in the box?
Well, the stoppages are important. I just get a little bit of composure going and just try and calm things down a little bit. But you know, it's a new beginning for this club. They like to take the game on and back in their system.
Bailey Williams back into the side in the ruck. On the front, spelt through. Reed trying to earn a free kick. There's a good wrestle on behind the play too. Between he and Sherrod. Reed's just put his knees right across the chest of Sherrod behind the play there. A little dangerous, so we'll get another look at that as the ball sent long by Hollands up to half forward and Edwards intercepts. Back with West Coast, Dewar. Driving ball, short of Jack Williams. Chopped off by Hewitt. Akers. Now Hewitt with a spin. For the handball out, Akers after it. Hollands, back for Akers, lovely step. And trying to drive the Blues forward again. Doherty, the run from Chincotta. Open forward line, the precision kick and McGovern will mark.
That's better from the Blues because we talked about their inefficiency quite a bit throughout the year. They're number 18 for ability to hit the scoreboard once they get inside 50, but passing in like that, not just blazing away. Chincotta lowers the eyes, hits McGovern up and just takes the sting out of the game, and a relatively easy shot from 35 metres out.
Mitch McGovern to take the shot. Putting himself forward. From his early days, only a defender at the Blues. And he steers that one through. They got the first three, Carlton in the West.
Well, I feel like it was a matter of time, really. This particular goal come from back half transition, come from the D50 stoppage, and there's a turnover for Duo when the conditions don't really suit that. And sort of seen this from the start, the ease of which they get inside to out, which has been an issue for Carlton this year, and get a shoulders out play where you can get that type of connection. And McGovern playing forward traditionally hasn't done that too much in recent times, so there's a real big tick for McGovern. He's playing deep forward at the moment.
Yeah, all looking good for the Blues at the moment, winning the ball back in the right spot, so a lot around the attacking mid area, and that exactly what it allows. If you win it there, then it should be an open forward line.
Look at last time they met, it was in gather round at the Adelaide Oval. And really, it was a thumping that day from the Blues. It was a bit of a turning point for the Eagles season. They've been more competitive since then, but more of the same to start this one. Carlton are dominating, bouncing ball. Dewar lost it, Cripps burst forward again, trying to get away from Brock. They've just got numbers waiting and willing to accept everywhere. Fogarty wanted it to sit up for him. He split through a tackle. It's too easy for Carlton right now.
Too easy is exactly right. Perhaps that was almost training drill stuff from the centre square bounce.
Well, you can ask the question.
Great tackle. Great tackle from Patrick Cripps. I mean, they look at him go. So he sticks the tackle, then he gets up, bounces, and then not known for his speed, but he puts the hammer down, and then a couple of smart hand passes, and then this is just way too easy in front of your goal.
defend when you come straight at the front like that. These conditions are suited for the bigger bodies, the surge type of game, and I think a lot of handball receives. Carlton are getting inside to out again, and it just puts the back line out of whack. So, perfect start for the Blues.
Out of the middle. Eagles on the back foot. Brockman trying to get some territory. Doherty tackle, knocked on by Kelly. A free kick paid. Graham winning the free for a hold of the ball call. Go out to Allen. Left in the subs vest till about 7 minutes remaining in the game last week. Oh, Allen, so enjoying a bit more game time this as it goes inside 50. Punched away by Silvani. Kelly at the spill. It's tackled pretty well by Carroll. Holland's in there. A bit of pressure that time from the Eagles. Keeps it locked in there, 450.
Centre bounce is going to be crucial today, perhaps, with this weather.
So they got 2 behind the ball here, West Coast.
Yeah, one of those is Oscar Allen have, so they've already pulled the trigger on a loose.
Inns trying to clear and kick going as far as Hutchins.
Actually got 3 behind the ball because the ruckman goes behind. Allen has. They've obviously activated that, saved the game type of, or slowed the, composed the game model right now.
Look at the damage. The Blues have been all over them to start. Kick to the hot spot. Jack Williams had 3 or 4 to beat. Carroll back for Binns. Tumbles a kick dangerously. Allen couldn't trap it cleanly. Able to get it through. Fantasia Doherty coughs it up. McCarthy with it. He can wheel and go, and the delivery perfect for Bailey Williams.
It was. They have gone Oscar behind the play. Once it's a 450 stoppage, you got 3 behind on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not the plan, but allows a few turnover opportunities in the front half and a great kick, a good sign for the debutant.
Very nice layoff into your leading forward.
Bailey Williams found himself in and out of the team this year. Played rounds 2 till 5. Was out. Had to work his way back in. Played rounds 9 to 11. Out again. Finds his way back in today with Archer Reed out omitted. He rubbed that one off the boot, and the Eagles finally get there first.
That's better from West Coast. I talked about them having 3 behind the ball. Well, that's probably not the structure of Oscar, and yes, they've activated that. But what it does allow is you put enough pressure on the ball, and they did it twice here. The first kick coming out wasn't great. Now there's that one. And then McCarthy, what about this? Pretty simple sometimes.
Yeah.
Turn it over, kick it to your forward, and go kick and goal. Really well done.
Well, it was pretty simple from the start. If you win the centre bounce clearance, you get a deep entry, you get your stoppage, you can set up behind it, and then you get the front half game going. They've been pretty good at the front half game when they get it there, West Coast. Last 5 weeks, they're top 5 for forward half turnovers.
5th goal of the season for Bailey Williams. The best he's ever had in a campaign is 6, and it's inspired him in the ruck to tumble that kick forward. Flynn crunched in, Kelly trying to rove, overran it, and lays a good tackle on Hollands, but it slipped home. Player searching around as to whose free it was going to be.
Ripping his head off, probably. Tim.
See it on the replay. 2 neat women. Got the high contact. Up the line. O'Keefe knocked it down. Akers quickest to react. To half forward. The bounce, Edwards. It was an awkward one. McGovern for company. Fogarty able to clear it out. Lord tweeting his way through the traffic and opened up to space for Motlop. Again, just extracting it too easily and able to find a target inside 50.
Well, we know they're such a good contested possession team, and just there, that ground ball war that coaches often talk about, well, they're dominating that. They've had plus 10 in that area, and Lord's kick was a beauty. To Motlop.
Jesse Motlop from the NT, schooled in WA, drafted out of South Fremantle, the Waffle Club. Close to the player on the mark. He's trying to give it everything he had and misses.
Well, the tackle efficiency's not everything all the time, but Carlton are going at 100%. The West Coast are going at 44, and you can sort of see it on the screen when you break a tackle, expose the back line, and that's what's happening tonight.
Carthy again kicking in. It's a lovely long kick. Reed went up with a big mark that gives away a push. He set himself from a long way back. He's got a licence to do it, but he gave up the free there.
Could have been anything, man.
Decoding long. punched away. Lord. Now Chera. To Coney. Doherty. Just got extra numbers ready to receive the handball and open it up. Holland's kick. Punched on by Jaden Hunt to a dangerous spot though. Important touch from Flynn. Ginby. Away to Marek. He has to go and find it in the back pocket. Under the pump. Delivery for Harley Reid.
Great kick for Merrick because they needed that relieving pass that you've been hoping for a little while. They've just been helter-skelter and it's been turnover footy and repeat entries for the Blues. But there's Harley Reid just taking a flight.
He was up there for a while. He didn't even quite get the perfect sit. He was still up there for a long time. Graham tries to get the handball out. Hewitt was good. Gincona, Fogarty. Advantage taken by the Blues, and now it's Motlop on the burst, feeding another handball over the top. McGovern wants another. No, unselfish. He goes to Zach Williams, and it's going to be 52. Didn't look like a lot of contact in it, but Williams is sore. Get another look, but it's 50 metres, which will make it a certain goal.
That's great. The highlight the tackle pressure. Again, a huge tackle on centre wing, and then they're able just to transfer the ball and play checkers effectively. It's really smart ball use after the huge tackle that was laid on centre wing.
Zach Williams taken right to the goal line, and Carlton continue on their way in the first quarter.
Well, the numbers bright green for Carlton, bright red for West Coast. The handball chains that they're getting from these contests, inside to out, we've spoken about the inconsistency this year on these types of plays, but 39 handball receives to 12 in the wet is an indication of strategy to me, that they've gone into this game really wanting to take it on, not blaze away what we've seen earlier in the year. So big tick for Carlton the way they've started.
If you're going to link up like that, you need to stick your tackles, and that one there from Chera, again, you highlighted it earlier, Simo. They're right on with their pressure at the moment, the Blues, and they're capitalising the other way.
Zach Williams with the goal. I said the handballs received in his first turn. Huge number from the Blues. Out of the centre though, Ryan tackled home. So they'll take it out of the middle. Some run and carry for Dewar. Will drive the ball in. Reid attacking it. Scrolling down there too. Hutchinson, Lord. Blues in defence. Under the pump, Carroll pushed out.
It's almost the only way they're getting entries at the moment is a free kick or a clearance from the middle, and these type of situations where Oscar is not going behind the play at the moment, they're still going back to their normal way.
Still got two behind the ball. You've got Flynn there as the ruck and also McCarthy the winger.
Yep.
So two behind the ball for West Coast.
He's got punched out of it by the Coney. Hollands trips. Dump kick out of defence. Didn't make good enough connection to clear it. Allen in there. Hewitt after it. Bodies bump off each other. Now Saab. He can descend it as long as he can. Flynn attacks it. Ginby crunched in. And a free kick or a block. It's going to go the Eagles' way.
So it's not a bad strategy if you've got two behind the ball and you're actually putting enough pressure on the ball, which is going to be very, very hard for the midfielders and the forwards, but I'm not sure how many times it's going to work, Simo.
Definitely part of the plan, but it can't be your only plan.
Bo Allen will go short to Marek. It's a long kick, but I think this might be beyond him. He's just going to tee it up to the top of the square. Bailey Williams to attack it. And the Reid was thinking about launching. Chera down there. Carroll. Under pressure. Allen trying to trap it and take it on as well. Got the arms clear. Away to Cripps. Loves this type of angle. Sends it goalward. Misses.
I spoke about earlier, their front half game's pretty good when they get it in there. They've had plenty of forward half turnovers. They had 33 last week. Just the rest of the game at the moment, they can't get it in enough to do some real damage.
Too much up the line for Saab. Goes for the big body of Curnow. Ginby did pretty well to punch it away. It'll spill though. And the quickest to react, the Blues. Fantasia there. Graham beelined it. Bodies collided. The Blues came up with it Inside 50, Fogarty nudged Edwards underneath it and then gave the handball. McGovern clears a path, he can give it back to him. The soccer, the dribble, it found a way. It wasn't clean, it wasn't pretty, but it has the same result.
Well, they almost fluffed their lines in the end. I think my voice was a bit nervous about what happened. So Jack Graham goes beelining for the ball, but he and Baker just collide, and then Fantasia really smart to get it over the back. It's the third one early in this game. Actually, it's well played by McGovern, and it just got there. He was having a laugh as it was trickling over the line. Saw a couple of fresh areas last night here at Optus Stadium. He's done the game well, though.
He has, and
3 goals.
wow, it's a great start, but it doesn't happen without that little knock-on from McGovern. He's football smarts. The McGovern family, it's innate to do some of those things for the team, so that's been a big tick him forward as well.
32 points the margin already in this one as Cripps trying to bust through. Graham put his body on the line to knock it across to Duggan. High kick up to the 50 and Silvani was there. Jack Williams was leading to the footy and then was worried about Silvani, then up-marked him as Marek. Graham, and he was pitched it back. Struggling to get anything clean going inside 50. Ryan's handball. Gave it up to Doherty. Now Binns came into the squad. Sam Walsh, big bloke, going to miss a few weeks. Hot spot. His foot up the line they go. McGovern, they break through again. Handball received to Mark inside 50. Curnow can go over the top. Wanted to give it to DeConey. Snapped himself in the end. Everything coming up trumps for the Blues.
Well, this is a familiar pattern. West Coast versus Carlton. Just get caught out. Harry Edwards caught up the ground. The pressing defence just didn't work, and you get through one layer, and at the moment it's a really vulnerable back line. You look at Harry Edwards up the ground here and forces Ruben to press up, and Flynn's the only defender in a 2v1, so that's an indication of a disabled back line. And if there's no pressure, it's hard to defend.
So, yeah, the defence is all at sea, but it actually started here at half-back where West Coast actually had an opportunity to win the ball back, and then they just went handball like they have so far. And so well in this first term, the Blues, and it's just too easy.
7 goals in the wet in the first quarter. Blues have started on fire. Harley Reid in there. Ryan. Flynn. Feed a handball over the top. Back for Harley Reid. Thought about taking Doherty. Back to Dewar. Kick smothered. Up down well by Fogarty. Spills to Chera. They can cut them up again back through the middle. The kick wasn't a good one though. Jimmy's there. Spills away. Eagles have the extra number. Bo Allen to his feet. McCarthy. Baker. Out to Jaden Hunt. Ball needed to be won. And sliding in was Jaden Hunt into the Blues. So a free kick for contact below the legs.
I think the free kick was there, but it doesn't feel right sometimes. No, but you understand why.
And cause a bad injury. It's that circumstance. They want players to try to keep their feet. Ball punched away. Curnow just got it out in time. And ball flicked away. Dewar.
They're fierce at the moment, the Blues. Their tackle pressure. They're also very good at bouncing off their half-back line. West Coast just can't get a grip on them at all.
Koning in the ruck knocks it forward. Baker had to go. Blues had extra numbers. Jim Potter. Cross to Tripp, spun right around. Gave it up to Brockman, but it'll roll out of play.
Yeah, so 3 goals out of their defensive mid is a massive concern, as well as the clearance stuff that we've been highlighting.
Well, with these conditions as well, I mean, there's 2 minutes to go. If you're Carlton, you finish off the quarter as well as you can, and you bank a great start. If you're West Coast, you just try and consolidate, get to the quarter time.
Rucks again started a long way back to make it to the fall of the ball.
Why do they? Why do they start so far back?
They both got front position, so they're not willing to give it up. They keep walking back. They feel like you don't want to get stood on markers up. You don't want to be in front.
Back in the schoolyard.
But in the end, the ball just hits the ground. It was quite bizarre. Yes, the ball is out of play, but no, high tackle. Free kick won by Harley Reid.
As much as West Coast have been poor, I think this says a bit more about Carlton and their attitude. this type of game is huge for them to start well and win. Everything's gone right.
Rock out of defence. Up the line of the centre square, but it was a 1 on 2 or 3 there. And then Flynn, he had the fresh air swing. Cripps with a great look-away handball for Binns. Time to execute the kick into O'Keefe. Just dropped the mark. Under some pressure from Brock. Hewitt back for O'Keefe. Looks central. It's queued off the side of the boot, out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, right, perhaps that kick from Brock went to a 1 on 3 in the end. Yeah, it was well read by the Blues defence. They're having a good afternoon already, but it's not quite in sync at the moment, West Coast.
What's noticeable, boys, down here, it's still really wet, but one side's clean, and that's Carlton, and West Coast are indecisive and fumbly constantly.
So getting a good look at ground level as the ball's up the wing. Carroll over to get it out to Sard, and now Binns to half forward for Motlop. Still time for another for Carlton. Just working harder to get to space. Fantasia.
He did work really hard there, Fantasia. He was up around the stoppage, and then as soon as that was released forward, he took off to equalise and eventually get a shot at goal.
Rosio Fantasia, just his second game of the season. 9 goals for 15 games last season. He kicked one against the Bombers last week. Certainly been a goal kicker across his career. From inside 50, he was confident on the execution, but it stays out to the right.
Some of the numbers with some of the players. Hewitt's on 13 possessions. Cripps is up to 10 already. 7 contested possessions. So obviously not a tag to start with. I mean, he's part of the problem that West Coast's got at the moment.
McCarthy with another kick out. Huge responsibility on his shoulders in his first game as they cannot clear it out of defence. The Blues swarming, trying to win it back. A throw might be the call. Otherwise, Carlton are going to add another to their tally. Come back. After that one was shoveled up. So Jewell gets the free. Nothing fluid about the way the Eagles have been moving the ball up the field. They're certainly scooped up, well spotted by the umpire. Wiedering's got it back as the seconds tick down to end the first quarter. A hot start from Carlton. They came with a plan and they executed it perfectly. Running rings around the Eagles in that first term. They have set themselves up with a 39-point lead at the first charge.
All right, there we go, folks. Quarter time, and I tell you what, Carlton is absolutely giving the West Coast Eagles a bath in the opening term. 7 goals for 46. The Blues, the Eagles, 1 goal, 1-7. Nothing's happening for the Eagles in the opening term. Carlton, though, on the other hand, finding every loose player they've got, they just look... they just look like a good Carlton today. And of course, the Eagles, we're still waiting for the Eagles to give a little bit of a fight back. Come back in the second quarter here, but Carlton look really good today. Eddie G, Carlton look good today, and it looks like they might go on for a big victory, but you never know. We know Carlton. We know what they're capable of. We do. And West Coast, look, they'll probably make a little bit of a fight back, but they need to man up. They're just giving Carlton opposition too much space and freedom, especially in their forward line. They're just tearing it up in the forwards. I tell you what, there's not much close checking there from the Eagles' backman. And of course, given a couple of 50 metres away as well. But what an opening quarter. If you're a Blues fan, this is something you are really going to enjoy, just looking at the live ladder there. Let me just turn off the ladder. Carlton, prior to this game, sitting down there in 12th on 20 points, 5 wins, 7 losses, 103. Their percentage, of course, West Coast Eagles, strongest team in the competition because they're sitting on the bottom, holding the whole team competition up, just the 1 win, 12 losses. If I turn that live ladder on, there we go. Carlton will move up into 10th. And, of course, today is a day for Carlton that they can stretch and build on their percentage over the West Coast Eagles. Just before I go any further, the ins and outs for both teams. For the West Coast Eagles, coming in was Tom McCarthy, Clay Hall, and Jay Williams. Bailey Jay Williams. Going out was Tom Cole, Bradley Hugh, and Archer Reed for the Eagles. The new player, Tom McCarthy. The sub, Clay Hall. And, of course, 2 milestones for the West Coast Eagles. Harry Edwards on his 50th game today. Well done. And, of course, Tom McCarthy, his debut game there for the Eagles. For the Blue Baggers, coming into the team was Jackson Binns, Corey Durden going out, Will White, and Sam Walsh. I tell you what, they haven't missed Sam Walsh at all in the opening term. They are just on fire. JJ, how you going? How you going? It is an atrocity. Is Jack Williams injured? I'm not 100% sure. There we go. I'm not 100% sure. There we go. Corey Durden is the sub for the Blue Baggers, but yeah, I'm not sure on the injury list there. I haven't heard anything. At the moment. Player stats, let's just have a look at the goal scorers. And, of course, already for Carlton, Lockie Fogarty, 3 goals in the opening term. Wow. There we go. Zach Williams with 1. Mitch McGovern, Tom DeConing, Charlie Curnow all with 1. And, of course, Bailey J. Williams is the only single goal scorer there for the West Coast Eagles. Of course, over on the disposal count, Carlton leading the way. George Hewitt on 12. Paddy Cripps having a nice opening term there with 10 disposals, 4 kicks, 6 handballs. Harley Reid topping the list for the West Coast Eagles on 9. There we go. We'll just roll down a little bit. Tom DeConing on 7. There we go. Lockie Fogarty on 6. Bo Allen on 6 for the Eagles. Liam Baker just on the 5. I'll just roll down there just in case anyone wants to have a quick gander at the disposal of the players. There we go. As we can see, a lot of the gold there, the West Coast on the lower score count there on the disposal count there. And, of course, you go up there. And it's been all Carlton with the ball pretty much. Have a look at that. That's probably the top 15, probably 12 of the top 15 disposal getters out on the ground are from Carlton. All right, hey, let's head back down to the ground. We're only a minute away from the bounce of the ball. Wow, come on, Eagles, get a few goals, make a game of it. Well, that's Carlton by 39 points.
Is that corner. That is the most in a quarter this year. They came out absolutely firing. We know what a big road trip it is here to Perth. Carlton have come to play today and they've had their best quarter this year.
Thanks, Scully. The inside 50s certainly clearly favouring the Blues, and Patrick Cripps obviously a big part of that.
Yeah, so the clearance game isn't really, at this point in time, in their favour, but when they do get it right, Carlton, from the clearance, they look really threatening, and Patrick Cripps is one, of course. So this has been the intent to begin. So it's not only Patrick Cripps, that's a huge tackle, it's a turnover, and then look, he's up and he bounces. And he says, okay, well, we've got the ball, I'm going to keep running forward. Another feature of this was driving with his legs. Couldn't quite get away, but then what they did so well in this first quarter was exactly that, link up with their hands, and that's just the bolts in goal, and he's got 3 bogeys. So it's come off turnover largely. There's a bit of a physio watch as Cripper gets a bit of treatment, or at least keeps warm on that bike, perhaps a corky, but it's just been way too easy to this point in time.
Let's get down to count some headaches for the Eagles right now. She's with Andrew McQuarrie.
Andrew, what was the gist of your quarter-time message?
We're pathetic in the contest.
Do you want them to, what else did you have to say? Did you give them a bit of a bake? Did you try to implement a bit of composure amongst the boys?
Yeah, simply we've got to bounce back from that. So we've got an idea around the method they've got around the ball, and we're just collapsing on it. We're not getting it done with the ball in our hands. So we've got to improve in that space.
We'll let you go. Thanks, Andrew.
Pretty strong words there. Pathetic in the contest.
Well, they're minus 20, and what's happening is that clip that you showed, they're going from inside to out, and it's direct. It's straight at goals with this weather. They're getting a bit of overlapped handball. Too many players collapsing on the play with the ball, and they're getting out the front. So that would be the message around the method. But then there's the intent as well, which has definitely been down.
Yeah, plus 16 ground ball gets, plus 20 contested possessions, and 55 more disposals. It just talks, and that's why he said pathetic, because they just haven't come to play, the Eagles, so far.
39-point lead to Carlton at the first change as we're back underway. Will there be a response from the Eagles after those strong words? They get it straight out of the middle. Ryan to Hewitt. A high ball into inside 50. Wiedering crunched it. Eagles at the spill. Hewitt continued to run. Flicked a handball over his shoulder to Kelly from the pocket. Heads towards Harley Reid down there. He found himself floating back into some traffic. Took a good mark and a lot more intent from the Eagles to start the second term.
Yeah, great mark. He started this second term forward, so maybe that's one of the magnets that has been moved and it went right into the midfield. Wonderful mark and good power from Hewitt a couple of times there.
It's that awkward spot here. Pav, is drop punt or is he snap it on his left?
Drop punt.
Drop punt?
Yeah.
Lining them up, Harley Reid. 9 disposals in the first quarter, and he cooks that one terribly. Should have done the snap.
Oh, I was thinking. It's just a difficult spot, that awkward angle. I mean, he's always a very good player, good enough to kick it. It was a great mark, so good intent for the first centre bounce.
Would have been exactly what Andrew McCall was searching for to start this second quarter. But the Blues were right on from the opening bounce and DeConing over the leader.
It's about that, though. Perhaps it's killing that ball and getting them the line for the contest.
Jimmy put his body on the line to get back. So to hold things up. Much movement up the line at all. I think Ryan's found some space. He can elevate. Touched down by Haynes. Hewitt get the handball through. Law. Now to Hollins. That's where the Blues were so good early on that running chain of handballs to find a target. O'Keefe did want to control it down to himself, and then Akers, a high ball towards the square. The Governor attacked it. Baker back there. Dewar out of defence. That's out on the foot.
You highlighted the non-spoil that the Koning had from Flynn, but then Haynes just got enough in on Liam Ryan. That's the difference right now. They're just doing the little things, the important things, so much more effectively than West Coast.
Akers, no one on the mark. Brockman turned his back to it in the end, allowed Akers a few more metres down there. O'Keefe almost. Fogarty flicked it up, and then from the pocket, it's missed on Binns creeping down. He'll be disappointed he couldn't execute there from close range.
The luxury of starting Cripps on the bench, unless there's an issue down there. Scully.
No, I walked past him as we came from our cross with Andrew McQualter after his strong words, and now he's getting some work done on his glutes and hammies on the sideline. He looked pretty happy, actually, a big smile on his face.
Big opening quarter with 10 disposals. Patrick Cripps. So Eagles through Jaden Hunt. Ample over the top. Jack Williams. Backed up by Wiedering, but it did slip high. This one took a second to come, but it looked like it was initially over his shoulder.
Yeah, certainly there.
Talk about the handball game. 110 metres gain with handballs from Carlton, 33 metres from West Coast. So distinct attitude towards that part of the game tonight.
Big number from the Blues. They sport each other then, and Brockman able to rove it. Bounce important. Trips read at the best. Binns went past it. Tight angle. He ran out of room and tackled over.
He did it well though, didn't he, Cripps? Just anticipated the ball to stay at ground level and wasn't enough runway for the goal.
I believe it's in behind. Please check it at the post. Score review. Umpires call is one behind, please.
So we're just checking whether Cripps, well, it's behind or maybe a boundary free. If that ball hit the post first.
There's a lot of talk about how long the game goes from players, from coaches, from potentially fans as well. Here's a minute or so. I know we have to get it right, perhaps, and the umpire
So you've got to check that. Yeah.
probably do
Review
it right.
complete. Looking at this angle, we see a gap between the ball and the behind post at all times. Decision on the scoreboard.
Yeah, well, he's got to do it, I suppose.
Yeah, that's an important
it's
one
just
to
heading
check.
that way that it's getting longer and longer. Unless they shorten the game length, we're just going to have 33, 34 minute quarters.
Well, that one is an important one to check. Because in another context part of the game, it could be really
Well, they're all important to check. Yeah, it's just we have to get used to the fact that quarters are going a lot longer.
Doherty to the back pocket for Silvani. That's a half-back. The perfect kick that finds Fantasia. It's effective. Yeah, not afraid to pull the trigger through the middle. It was a good kick for Jim Connor. Players cruising past. Call to go. Stepped off the line and options inside 50. Williams able to beat his opponent to it. Strong mark, and then he just about played on.
What's he doing playing? I'll just go back and kid. What a pair of hands that was from Williams. Just vice-like, particularly in these conditions. The kick coming in was stung in and then just stuck beautifully. Go back and kick the goal.
Averaging 1.2 goals a game this season, Zach Williams. 2.8 last year. We're getting a bit better return in season 2025. Already got one today, and he works it back to perfection. The Blues continue on their merry way.
Well, they came from full back again, another back half goal, which, I mean, they've been okay this year, Carlton. They've been around the mark in this transition game, but the contest starts with the contest, but this time it was spot kicks, and they're just kicking through holes in this team defence, and unfortunately you get to a one-on-one inside your D50 and you've got a third game player against a pretty experienced small forward and you get exposed.
They're 5 goals now out of their back half. Yeah, so 5 of their 8. That transition game, regularly when you talk about Carlton, you talk about contest, you talk about clearance. Well, today it's all about transition. They're on fire.
Pretty happy.
And one eagle in amongst all the Blues. Feeling the Blues right now with the scoreline. Yes, Ryan will get it out of the middle to Marek. Back to Dewar. Up the line they go. Haynes' best position. Flynn attacked it well. Saad tackled by Brockman. Spills out to Hollins. Looping handball from Binns. And they run and carry again, Carlton. Hewitt up the line to Fantasia. They are open and out, deep inside 50. McGovern working hard to the pocket. It was out into space. He tapped it back well, and it stayed in play. Bo Allen now got some issues. He saw it over the boundary line. Thrown away by McGovern too, but again, they almost went.
And if you're, I mean, McCall's a young guy.
Giving away the as well.
Just unnecessary down there. McGovern initially had sort of got stuck into Bo Allen a bit, and the retaliator gets done.
Yeah, McGovern's can do that to you. Get under his skin.
Eagles fans just realising they're not happy. Leaders Andrew McCallter.
Fair to say this one will be a flop, I reckon, in replay, boys.
I'll get another look at it shortly. There's a bit going on if that ball went out of play. The result is a free kick to Mitch McGovern. A left foot snap, a lunge from Edwards. Almost got a fingertip on it, but now they get stuck into each other.
Stay in position, please. Position. Thank you.
I mean, better served that their bodies at the ball rather than at each other, West Coast. Here it is again. McGovern played it well to keep it in, and then that's a free kick. Not sure what the umpire was there, but Harry Edwards.
Oh, sure. It was a flop or not, I didn't see it coming. But
Pretty strong.
there is a blindsided push. Scully, will you see the replay of the moment? What are you thinking? I don't think you saw it coming, so that's definitely a free kick.
I reckon Mitch McGovern's a pretty strong man.
Well, either way, it's unnecessary, and it's, you know, young McQualter working through his first season. What does he do now to try and stop this?
That was a push from Hewitt, to Hewitt, and almost been injured there. That was quite dangerous in the end as Cripps, a high ball in. McGovern's there out the back. Curnow bumped off it by McCarthy, who attacked it well. Fogey on the boot, bouncing ball. They're running because they know that the options will present. Fantasia could have had a shot himself. Instead went to Binns. Bo Allen out of defence, and then Brock punched away by Haynes. Terrific intent from Carlton.
Just another example of stopping an exit. So many times today where, look at this push, Hewitt into the back. It just, that could have been a broken leg or concussion. But this is the bit that Michael Voss would love. Haynes up in someone's grill, making sure they keep it in their front half.
Rucks again start a long way back. Down by DeConing. Elijah Hewitt on the boot. Good purchase. Bounce. Missed by Haynes. Brockman dug it. Slipped the handball through to Kelly. Knocked down by Hollins. Back for Weeder. Off a step. Blast it long. Eagles there. Baker dropped it. Chincotta tackled. Baker went back to make amends. And we'll go a dangerous kick across the goal face. It bounces away from Marek and over. But they're under so much pressure.
And the question mark now has to go to some of these midfielders that just haven't got their hands on the ball or laid many tackles. Duggan, Brockman, Hewitt, Kelly, Brian, Graham. Some of these players for West Coast, they need to get moving. Otherwise, this is going to get really ugly.
Well, it's already 50 points halfway through the second quarter, so it's not looking good at the moment.
Ball knocked away, Elijah Hewitt over it, but he just tapped it into the path of Chincotta. Missed Motlop, shoveled through by McCarthy, who did well to get back and rush it.
If you're a Carlton supporter, though, it's been a brilliant display of wet weather football. Maturity, excellent teamwork together, coming with a strategy of really taking the game on regardless of the weather, and it's worked really well.
Eagles won their last 5 against the Eagles by an average of 75.6 points.
Yes, Pops.
It's on track. Sorry to remind you, Simo, but it's on track like that again. It's a side they'd love to play against.
Well, yeah, and early in the season, panned out pretty poorly as well. I think the other round was when they last played. So, and if you're McWalter, what do you do in this situation? Because you want to play the same brand, you want to instill a new style. You can just do it no matter what. But there'll be a certain point in this game where you'll have to intervene with some sort of strategy to slow things down.
Cody, heavily down. Elijah Hewitt, put his boot into it. Flynn out wide and over the line again.
It is hard to fix anything when you can't win the ball. So, game plan out the window. If you can't put pressure on and win a contest, not many levers you can pull other than parking the bus. But
you can see he's pondering what we do. Do we stick to that structure? It's actually been decent enough in this second term by winning the contest. Just the turnover game, they're getting absolutely sliced. The Blues are doing so well in that area.
Running down. Baker. Graham worried out of it. Chincotta in the pocket. Can steady. Snap. And fire it through for yet another.
I'm interested to see the celebration from Chincotta. That's a classy finish because to stop and prop and actually get that to curl properly is a really challenging kick, particularly in the wet. This one comes from a stoppage. A lot of the work from the Blues today, the sensational work, has come from in around the half-back line of defence, but that's impressive work from the boundary line.
well, the scary thing is if they start getting the game played in the front half, it's going to get worse. I mean, what they've brought from the beginning is the contest record. They've been number one for most of the year around the ball, and the question's been obviously second halves, which we can talk about later, but the ability to transition from the back half. It's something they've done pretty well with their entries, but they haven't got their scores going. So today's been really good.
Great to see Alex Chincotta back out there, battling plenty of injury this season. It's his second game of the year. His first goal of the season. That one sent forward. Kelly dropped it. Doherty sent it wide. Brockman knocked it back to Dewar. Bowen into trouble, wrapped up in a big tackle. Not going to get away from Cripps. Graham's kick. Wiedering attacked it. Kelly burrowed in. Allen slapped it on, but it went through the legs of Bailey Williams. Haynes has been everywhere. Coughs it up to Kelly. Chance here for West Coast. Cripps, he just chips it up and misses. All time there in the end. Couldn't execute. Shake of the head from the Eagles veteran. Again, easy on the outlet kick. The Blues just walking it out of their defence. They get it up to the wing to a 2-on-2. Push free kick goes the Blues way.
It was walking out of defence. There was enough time. Yes, it was a running shot for goal. There was enough time, though, for the Eagles' defence to get set up there.
George Hewitt. Run and overlap from Hollands. We'll just drive them deeper into attack. Test of strength. Curnow, Jimby back there. Rushed over by McCarthy. No, it won't be a score. It'll be a push in the back. He's done some good things in his first half of footy.
He's had 9 disposals, a few of those from kickouts, but he's looked good.
So is Reuben Jimby. He's looking really good. Considering the kind of supplies coming in, he's holding up his end of the bargain.
Curnow only with 4 disposals. And 1 goal given, as you said, Simo, what are they up to now? 32 inside 50s.
Dewar to Williams, to Harley Reid. His best movement. Right around the boundary line.
Harley's also had impact too, with coming up to his 12th possession as well.
Marek. Carthy's drifted down. one. He just juggles the mark. Or did it hit the turf? He's called a play. He might have held on to it. It's Dewar. Kick off the side of the boot. Doherty, a big spoil away, spiking it to the boundary. It's fair enough. And the ball will be thrown in, given it was in the marking contest. Allowed to do that. 56 points the margin. Still 11 minutes to go in this second quarter.
The umpire's even telling the ruckman you're a long way away.
All knocked down. It was O'Keefe and Flynn that time. Bins on the boot. Ginby, well placed. Doing that roll. And a danger ball here on the Gavin dropped the mark. Otherwise, they were going into an open goal. It may still result in that. Akers, not much to kick to, so to hook it back centrally. Punched by Ginby. Did well against Curnow. Dewar's handball. He's given it up. George Hewitt. Away now to Motlop. Broken tackle. Lord to Hewitt to Doherty. He'll have a goal from 50. He was trying to will it through. In fact, it hits the very top of the behind post.
Very hard to do, perhaps.
Right on the point it landed. And out of bounds on the full.
You can see what Ginby was trying to do. Come to the open side, get a play on from that switch, but almost was out the full as well.
Kick wide. Haynes. Back facade. They're happy to take the long way to goal. Carroll. Switches across to Chera. Finds some space. Bins. He's been busy. Disposal number 11. He goes to the 50. Ali Reid got a touch on it on the way through. Overrunning it was Ginby. Allows Curnow in. Across to George Hewitt. He's tackles. Arms clear. Chera. When that pressure comes, they always seem to have an option available to hand off to. And they find Haynes.
There's a good example there with Hewitt. 3 West Coast players to 1, and then they hold the outside balance, and it's something you do train. You don't want these to the honeypot, Pat. You want to be able to hold.
Yeah, they're collapsing in, aren't they? They're going too much to the ball.
And his way across as a free agent from the Giants. 211 games with GWS as he sets sail. And long, it didn't quite make it. Trying to find his first goal for Carlton. Now a real scrap for the footy. Deep in defence, McCarthy, Duggan. The dump kick out of defence. Saad there against 2. Is able to win the day. Through the legs went Brockman cleverly. A handball away. Be reeled back in by Akers. Hands it to Carroll and he'll retreat. The Blues can reset with Weeder.
Well played by Carroll on a couple of occasions there. Firstly, the block, and this one's over the top.
It's coughed back up possession. Ball didn't clear the line on the goal line. And bad handball from Graham. And then from Jack Williams, knocked down again by Saad. Couldn't get past him at the volleyball net. As the ball sent out wide. Now to Akers. In space again. Options leading long. Options leading back to goal. And he just had a shot himself. And it went out to the right.
Michael Voss, despite the scoreboard, still barking orders. He's wanting to drive this one home.
Tim Kelly's just come to the bench. We'll speak to physios and doctors. Got a bit of a knock to the shin in that play. Looks okay.
Scully McCarthy out of fullback again. Marek almost. Collision there. Oscar Allen attacked it. Look at it through to Dewar. Chera on the up with a handball. Edwards going back the other way in game number 50. Allen to Marek. Lead. Dropping a mark and puts it back under pressure, but he's able to cruise through the middle now to Jack Williams. They are out. Hutchinson is inside 50 in a mountain of space. The Blues get back though. The kick was just too shallow for him. Maybe he was leading too far away, I'm not sure. Andrew McQualter trying to maybe hide what they're trying to do to get back into it.
He is looking at shifting the magnet. So whether Tim Kelly's an issue and they're talking about the sub or just to try and change the direction of the game.
The literal definition of moving the magnets around is Jack Williams. This kick make good contact, and now Haynes out of defence. Bailey Williams, another drop mark with a slippery footy. Not long. Just play the conditions well, Carlton.
Scully highlighted it early in that first term. Just look cleaner, don't they? They're playing like it's hardly wet or slippery out there, whereas West Coast are fumbly, missing handballs, dropping marks.
about to say Carlton been pretty direct today. This is the first time we've really seen a switch in play where they make West Coast defend a little bit more than the straight line game.
Silvani up to Chera. Drawing the player to him into the pocket. De Koning punched away by Bo Allen. Fogarty after it. Taken in there too. Boundary line, it wins out.
Boys, bit of movement down here at Carlton's bench. Charlie Curnow as doctors and physios next to him having chats, and Corey Durden's warming up in front of me, so looks like some serious conversations being had there.
Be a real sour note on a terrific first half for Carlton. If there's anything significant there for Blue Star forward. There was a wrestle off the play between Cripps and Graham. Graham's going to get the free. Just long down the line. Savani punches away from Cripps. Farrell getting involved. Good. Good fumble. Oscar Allen working hard. Punched out. To the advantage of Marek. Now Ryan. They can link up with another. The kick goes inside 50. Bouncing footy. Doherty overran it. Jack Williams now a chance. Fogarty getting back to help. Oscar Allen went in shoulder to shoulder with Lord. Good contest.
That was a great contest. Yeah, by both players. Actually saw one a little earlier with Duggan. Might have been Fogarty. They almost stood up, whereas those two, that's really well executed. Down low, heads down, but shoulder to shoulder.
Good technique with both players turning. I saw that one a little with Darren and Chera last week. Chera was taken high. Chikotta touched off the boot. Ryan won't be paid the mark. He went down looking for the free. All spills. The Blues will take it away. Vince to Chera. Good race on. Bailey Williams and Cripps. He paddled it to the line. He professionally fumbled a couple of times and got away with it.
Then Ryan a bit sore and sorry there. Simo, we've highlighted it a couple of times just how many numbers they have behind the ball when there's a forward 50 stoppage. Was that high?
Well, he took his knees. You know, you do run the risk if you want to track those high tackles of getting hurt.
It can't be a part of the plan though to have 3 or 4 behind the ball, can it?
At the moment, it might be the only plan.
Chera, wobbly old kick in. Bouncing footy, skids out the back. It'll just roll out in front of Hopper.
The big thing for Carlton is it's not relying on the top 5 players today. It's the whole team are getting involved. And you see the Docs having a chat. But it's been a team performance. We haven't seen just the top 5 players do their thing as much as Cripps has had some influence in Hewitt. But Hollins and Fantasia, Chikotta, all those types have had good impact.
Bring you an update from the boundary line as soon as we can. Akers, good tackle from Hewitt, will win the free.
Boys, I reckon Charlie Curnow's about to be subbed. Boots are coming off. He's gone back row, front row. There's about 17 people standing up in the box, so I reckon he's been subbed. He was doing some run-throughs down here. I reckon it's muscular as well.
Thanks, Scully. An official word to bring it to people as soon as we can. Concern there for the star Carlton forward. Kick inside 50. Duggan, a little casual out of defence. Just got it away to Dewar. Up to Baker. Again, it's a 3-on-1. Punched forward again by the Blues. Dewar attacked it well. Bo Allen. Lost to Jaden Hunt and then wide for Hutchinson. Goes for Oscar Allen. It's a good option. And they're out. If they go quickly. Long ball over the top. Trips. It took an eternity to get to him. But he was able to mark and dribble it through.
Fair to say it's much needed from West Coast. Come from a back half transition. Been a little bit better the last 5 minutes. Started with a pretty good tackle on the back of Elijah Hewitt. Look at some good spot kick there to Oscar Allen. It's pretty hard as a form for West Coast at the moment. Clips got a bit of length, so out of a pretty disappointing first half. Can they finish off this quarter with a bit more grit, I suppose, and it will be interesting to see what they do in the second half with the Magnets, because some of the players haven't really had much possession. McCarthy's playing his first game. He's the leading possession getter at 13 and Harley Reid at 12, so too much to too few.
That's a big talking point though, isn't it? Charlie Curnow
Nothing officially been done just yet. Spent a fair bit of time on the bench. Only got 4 minutes till half time. It's out of the middle. Line run with a couple of bounces and inside 50 off the hands of Flynn to Kelly. Tapped on cleverly. Jack Williams, Elijah Hewitt. It's been a tough all afternoon. High fly to highlight there.
He's had a big second term. Elijah Hewitt, Michael Voss on the phone. Not happy. Saw him actually about 5 minutes ago doing the same. Maybe he saw the trend coming. This one comes from a centre square bounce, and Glenn Ryan, we know how electric he can be. Here's McCarthy. Look at him go as well. Great to see he in his first game doing what he does. Hewitt's done a wonderful job in his second term. His power and the beautiful tap from Williams was important, wasn't it?
It was, and the weather's cleared up a little bit. I don't know if that's got anything to do with West Coast. I mean, Carlton playing at such a high level as well, and they've adjusted a little bit. They've denied that forward handle we saw in the first quarter and a half.
Thrown up to Koning. And get it forward. Harley Reid. McCarthy been very busy on the ball. Reid run down. Terrific tackle. Will take the advantage. The Blues. Koning got a heavy bump as he kicked it, but it's going to be a down the ground free kick.
I don't agree with that. Perhaps I reckon that was in play.
So maybe back where he was hit, or nothing at all.
Free kick, I mean, he bumped. He chose to bump, which is always a risk, but it felt like the ball was still going from hand to foot when it happened. Have a look at the replay.
So in that case, a free kick back. We're going to keep mistaken if it was high.
Free kick, but
if it was high.
If it was high, absolutely.
And O'Keefe, it's his opportunity with the down the ground free kick. Just his second game. Searching for his first goal. Good off the boot and it hooked across the face. It's the oldest line.
Very nice strike, but just to the other side, there's DeConing. He's up and moving. No worries there after that bump. But they've had a good 3 or 4 minutes here. West Coast after the Blues are just sensational to begin this match.
Long kick of McCarthy. It's plenty of distance. Out of fullback, knocked away. Looks in there, Hewitt. Savani battles with Reid, but went to ground. Socket forward. Now we're throwing. Another look at this here.
Split second. What do you think, Pav?
Play on.
All thrown in, tapped down to Koning. Baker on the boot, wobbling it forward. The boundary great mark by Silvani.
He's been so good down back, hasn't he? It's been a seamless transition.
He's having a great year. Yeah, he really is. He's been really impressive this afternoon.
Whatever he plays, all that contract might be worth has really shown his value this year in defence. Bit of a look back. Just the rundown tackle from Fogarty. And then just throwing a stray elbow back there. Reid, Fogarty wasn't happy with it.
The man in the strife.
Kelly.
Yeah, off the ball, Harley Reid, I think it was. So
some frustrations there. Harley Reid giving away a free kick. He needs to take exposure number 13 for him.
2 minutes to go here.
Reid demanding the footy in short. Just the 15. Give him the benefit. Ball sent to half forward. Doherty after the footy. Ball's had it under control. Sard. It's a clever kick. Out wide to Binns at half back. Now Chera. Happy just to manage the clock towards the half. They lead it by 46.
there's that rain just constantly falling. By the looks, just that sort of misty rain making it very slippery. Wise to control the ball now.
The line they go. O'Keefe got the shove. to a contest down the line. Edwards with strength, not able to hang on to it that time. Over and out again. So just over a minute to play till half time.
It's been big, George Hewitt. Sort of his sort of conditions, aren't they? 21 disposals, number of handballs, 9 ground balls, 10 contested.
6 clearances a game this season, a career high for him. Now free kick for High to Harley Reid.
Well, he's in the game, Harley. His good's good, his bad's bad.
It's 15th disposal of the game. Equal at the top with McCarthy. Hewitt has provided them a bit of a spark in this quarter. Up to half forward. Ryan couldn't get a run at it in the end. Saad was knocked down. Silvani twists and send it to the wing. Jimmy in front will win a free.
As this one goes to Jimmy, just quickly, so Hewitt looks like the one that he's the power sort of one. He's the one that can really burst and make some impact. Can he play long the midfield minutes?
Flynn almost taking a mark down there. McGovern's back there too. Silvani tackle.
He's still learning and growing as a player. He's a power player at the moment. He's not really a transition mid, but he does seem to provide a really good spark, along with Harley as well, but they're both not quite ready for full minutes.
There's the Glover late one here. Brockman, tackle Linger to touch. Jaden Hunt there.
And they're missing an accumulator. They can just, get to 10 to 15 clearances and it's a silly free kick here.
Going the way of the Eagles. So a chance after the siren at the half for Matt Flynn to try to get the margin back to 40 points. Which is still a significant margin, but the Blues have certainly had their issues in second halves.
Well, the last 10 minutes, it's been pretty even, I suppose, from a field position point of view, but it's a long way back.
Starts with a kick from Matt Flynn.
This will take everything he's got.
2 goals for the season. Just inside 50. Gave it everything he had, but went well wide. So a flat on finish for West Coast to a disappointing first half as they continue to discuss things as they go to the break. It's in the middle of it.
Sure, the point of this, if you're West Coast, they've got bigger problems at the moment than starting fights.
Fair discussion going on out there. Motlop and Ryan with a bit to say. Blues can certainly do the talking at the half. West Coast effort in the early stages labelled as pathetic by their coach. Carlton.
Pretty blunt, wasn't it, at quarter time? We saw a little response, which is a positive, but some of the numbers have just got out of control.
Carlton electric with their handball game and their run in the first half. They've set it right up, leading by 46 points as we get down to Cathlock.
Yeah, Sam Dockerty just said to me, great weather. Are you enjoying this?
Yeah, it's a bit slippery out here. It's turned to a bit of a slog, but yeah, good start by the boys. Defended well, so getting 22 for a pass, not bad.
What do you think Michael Voss will be thinking right now? He's 68 points on the board too.
Oh, less of that about than probably the 22, to be honest. We're a defence first team. The scoreboard's nice, but it's coming off the back of our pressure and defence to attack. So keep doing that if the game's over.
And a real team performance. I mean, there's not real one standout. Everyone's chipping in.
Yeah, everyone's playing their roles as we should be, and if we all do that, defend well as a team, that's where a lot of our offence comes off the back. We get some great looks going forward off our defence, so we'll continue that in the second half.
Cheers, Sam.
Thank you.
Brilliant first half by the Blues as they head to talk it over at half time. They lead it by 46 points.
All right, there we go. Half time, 10-8, 68. The Blue Baggers, the Eagles, 3-4, 22. A little bit better quarter there by the Eagles. A little bit tougher conditions now. The rain, misty rain, is coming down, of course, makes it a little bit more slippery. Not as clean for most of the players. 3 goals for the Blues put in on that second term. And, of course, the Eagles, 2 goals, 3. So a little bit better effort there. Still, the margins are quite big at 44 points. There we go. What was it? 39-44 now at half time At least West Coasters stem the tide a little bit of the pain and suffering caused by Carlton in that opening term. The Fentons, how you going? Welcome in to the live. Branko, how you going, Sky? What's happening? Tina, of course, the manager's in the house. Shouty, Tina. Will take us back down to the commentators not too far away. Just want to have a look at Carlton's percentage. 108.2. Let's see what they've put on. They started this game at 103.4. So they've picked up nearly 5%. So this is exactly what Carlton need to do, is continue to grow this lead and grow the percentage, because they'll need that coming in to the back half of the season, especially if Carlton have a chance to jump up into the top 8 at some point. They'll need their percentage up and about up there. Let's have a little bit of a look at the goal scorers now up to half time. And of course, Lockie Fogarty still on 3 goals, hasn't added to his tally since quarter time for Carlton. Zach Williams on 2, Mitch McGovern on 2, TDK 1, Charlie Curnow 1, Sincotta 1. They're your blue baggers goal scorers for the West Coast. Bailey Williams has got 1 with Elijah Hewitt and Jamie Cripps. There we go. Let's just have a little bit of a look. Hey, let's have a look at the fantasy score points if you play that game. Tom de Koning 61, Fogarty 59, Hewitt 58, and Kera 56. The rest under that. Disposal magnets out there. Well, George Hewitt's doing the job out there for the Blues on 21. Fantastic opening half. Only the 4 kicks, but he's had 17 handballs, a couple tackles, 3 clearances. Harley Reid. There we go. We don't often see Harley topping the disposal count for the Eagles, but has he been in and about today for the Eagles in this game? 15 disposals, 9 kicks, 6 handballs, 4 marks, a tackle, 4 clearances. Just the one behind. Tell you what, sometimes he gets a little bit angry with the opposition, but when he plays his best football, he's concentrating on the game, on the football, and not the other players. Tom McCarthy, 15 also for the Eagles. Adam Kera next best with Jackson Binns on 14 for the Blues. TDK up to 12. Paddy Cripps up to 12. Still just with that one behind. Let's just keep going. Adam Sarr, 10 disposals, 8 kicks, 2 handballs. I'm surprised he's had a couple of handballs. He loves to just stick it on his boot, let the crowd woof him. There we go. Let's keep rolling down. Jack Graham for the Eagles on 9 with Elijah Hewitt. Jack Silvani, there we go. He loves the wet conditions, doesn't he? 8 disposals, 7 kicks. Mitch McGovern on 7. There we go. Oscar Allen, just the 6 touches so far for the Eagles. 2 kicks, 4 handballs. Charlie Curnow, just the 1 goal for Charlie. He's had the 5 touches. That was in the opening term. 3 kicks. All right, we'll have a look at the team stats not too far away. We'll just head back down to the commentators while they give a little bit of a analysis on the opening half.
It's the way they started as well. I remember back to that first quarter, they had 11 of the first 12 or 13 of the first 14 inside 50s, and it was off the back of their contest and what they did around the footy, and then that spreads to the rest of the ground. So they really came into play, and they're showing Eagles right up at the moment, Kath.
Charlie Curnow is emerging as a big story here this afternoon in Perth. So no official word from Carlton yet, but you were onto this as soon as it happened, Will.
Well, he was on the ground, came off and was doing some strides up on the boundary, and he was doing some really quick stops, which is usually testing a calf or a hammy or a quad or something like that. He went back on the ground, and then in about 3 minutes later, he was off again. They had their entire medical staff around him. So we saw him unlace his boots, which is usually not what you do halfway through the second quarter. So I'd say he is subbed out of the game, which is significant for Carlton in further weeks as well, not just tonight.
Yeah, but the good news for now is that they're 46 points up, and they've done a lot of damage in this first half. What impressed you most?
Yeah, well, especially from their back half, Kath, and the way that they've transitioned the footy. So defensive half scores has been incredible. And it's off the back of, well, cleanliness, really. That was a bit of a backman's kick, that one. There was end over end, but they hit a forward or leading mid, and then they're able to just cleanly transition the ball. You just see how clean they are by foot here. They make the right decision, and that's end-to-end footy. That's in the wet. Like, it is drizzling, constantly raining, but they don't look like fumbling the footy. You can see their scores from defensive half. They're on 5 goals, 232. Their average for the season is 29 per game. So already at halftime, they're past their average. In this sort of conditions, that's rare. It just tells me that they're right on. They've been well coached and well structured, and just well set up to play well today.
What about from a West Coast point of view? You can sense an air of disappointment amongst the crowd right now. I mean, only 22 points on the board. At least they had a couple of goals late in that second quarter, but it has been a disappointing showing so far. And as we heard from the coach at quarter time, pathetic.
Yeah, well, pathetic, right? I think the disappointment from the crowd side of things is they've probably had 4 weeks of really good footy, and that first quarter, if you just isolate that, they were pathetic. That's the coach's words, and that's the disappointment. I think, and as fans, West Coast fans, they want to see competitiveness and they want to see consistency of that effort. It just wasn't there in the first quarter, at least. I guess even the ledger a little bit in that second quarter, but still a long way to go. And the only thing that'll help them is no Charlie Curnow, but still a lot of good players for Carlton.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a backward step in this first half, but they've got the second half to redeem themselves. David Zeta is going to join us next with the latest footy news. It's halftime in Perth, the final game of round 14, and then once the footy's done, it's time for bounce. All the laughs with Jason the crew. Then it's over to the first crack team for a full review of the weekend.
All right, there we go. They'll be back with us not too far away. Let's pop on over and just have a little bit of a squiz at the team stats. I think that sounds good. And as we can see in these stats, I think we'll find that Carlton will be leading pretty much all of them at the moment. 59 plus is the disposals for Carlton. As I said, they've just controlled the game. Especially in that opening quarter when the coach even said they were pathetic. And you probably can't go wrong with that comment there from the coach. Well, they were. They were lackluster. They weren't manning up. They were giving Carlton too much space. But at least they fought back a little bit. And as I said, West Coast haven't been playing too bad a form, although even on the bottom of the ladder, they just want that fight within the Eagles, a bit of consistency in their game, give their fans just a little bit of a show, even if they win or not win. That's what they want. Plus 32 in the kicks, plus 28 in the handballs to Carlton, inside 50s. Well, there we go. Carlton have doubled West Coast inside 50s. West Coast going inside 20 times for 7 scoring shots. Only 20 times. Carlton 40 times inside 50. Their average is 55, so they are well and truly on top to obliviate that and set up some more scores. 18 scoring shots for inside 50, 40 times for the Blues. Disposal efficiency, well, that can be due to some of the weather. Pressure on West Coast, of course. It's going to reduce their efficiency. Carlton seem to be a lot cleaner with the ball, the way they're going. Even in this drizzly wet conditions, Carlton seem to be handling it quite okay. Free kicks, well, can't complain about that. The West Coast supporters, 14-12. A lot of free kicks being given in this game, but the hometown West Coast Eagles, they're +2 on the free kick count. So there you go. The hit-outs, Carlton dominating, 20-19, +11. The clearances, though, Eagles on top there, surprisingly, 19-18, just by the +1. Centre clearances +5. Not sure what Carlton's doing with their good midfield, although Sam Walsh out of the team today for Carlton, which probably does affect their midfield a little bit. Now, that being said, they're not getting real good use, West Coast, even though they've got the centre clearances 10-5. Stoppage clearances, Carlton round the ball, +4, 13-9 in that aspect. Contested possessions, well, look, both teams, it seems as though it's contesting reasonably well. It's +14 to Carlton. Carlton definitely contesting more. Well, the second quarter, Eagles, as I said, were a little bit better. They sort of brought that back again. Uncontested possessions, +44 to Carlton. We'll probably see that reflection in the marks. And turnovers, of course. West Coast, well, super high today, super high at 43. Man, that's just a little bit too much. That's probably 10 too many even for the half of footy so far. Carlton, well, just as slightly a little bit above average As we said in the marking department, of course, we're going to see Carlton on top in the marks. 43-27 marks inside 50. Most of these coming, of course, in the opening half where Carlton, well, they just found space in that opening quarter. Took many marks in that opening quarter. 8-3. There we go. Eagles need to tighten up a little bit on the forwards. Let's just have a little bit of a look at the tackle count. There we go. All right, tackle's still a little bit low for both sides. 26-29. I'd like to see the pressure being applied a little bit more. Tackles inside 50 though. 9-5. Carlton +4 there. That being said, good to see the Eagles tighten up in that second term a little bit. That is for sure. They need to do that. Look, they need to put pressure on everywhere around the ground. They definitely need to put pressure on and try and hold it within their forward 50 to give them the best opportunity to put a score on the board for themselves. Try and get Carlton to turn the ball over in the forward 50 of the Eagles. That's what we're looking for in the second half. That's what we are looking for in the second half. There we go. Don't forget, folks, this is the final game of round 14 in AFL football this week. I just want to recap, since we've still got 5 or 6 minutes to go. We'll take you back to the commentators in just a moment. So far, the winners in round 14, it was the Western Bulldogs over St Kilda 132-60. Hawthorn got up late over Adelaide 47-44. The GWS Giants in an upset over the Brisbane Lions 107-96. And of course, last night, Geelong gave Essendon an absolute shellacking 151-56. Fremantle getting the job done by that solitary goal, 73-67 over North Melbourne. And of course, today, Port Adelaide v Melbourne, fantastic game that was. Port Adelaide running out winners there, 93, Melbourne 68. And of course, tonight rounds out the round 14 here. So while we're just going on that and we've got a break, I'll let you know next round 15. The next game after tonight, folks, kicks off next Thursday evening at about 8 p.m. Melbourne time. That's where the Fremantle Dockers will take on Essendon, 8th versus 11th. Friday night football, Geelong Cats taking on the Brisbane Lions at GMHBA Stadium. That's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game down there. I'll tell you what, that's got big consequences for the loser there. And great reward for the winner. That'll be 7:30 p.m. Friday night. And of course, next Saturday, Carlton will take on North Melbourne, 12th versus 16th at the MCG, a 1:20 p.m. start Melbourne time. Following that game, Port Adelaide will take on Sydney Swans at Adelaide Oval. It should be a really good game. And of course, Saturday night, we've got Collingwood taking on St Kilda at Marvel Stadium, 1st versus 14th. Collingwood looking for another victory to cement their spot on top of the AFL ladder for season 2025. And of course, next Sunday, 2 games on next Sunday. We've got a ripping game. We've got the GWS Giants taking on the Gold Coast Suns, 7th versus 6th at Engie Stadium there in Sydney. And of course, the final game to wrap it up with the Western Bulldogs taking on Richmond, 9th versus 17th. Western Bulldogs should come home with a fantastic victory in that game. Of course, next week, we've got 4 teams that will have the bye. And of course, that is the Adelaide Crows. Hawthorn will have the bye also. Melbourne will have also the bye. And of course, West Coast Eagles next week will have the bye. So there we go. They are your winners from round 14. And they are the next matches coming up in round 15, what we've got to look forward to next week, folks. But there we go. An interesting game here today. Look, Carlton seems to be doing everything that Vossi be sort of wanting to. As they said, you know, they'll be probably happy about the score being 68 up until half-time, but more happy will be that they're keeping the opposition down to 22 points. Got a good defensive game happening out there today. All right, folks, we'll be back in just a moment with the second half.
been subbed into the game. Curnow out with half tightness, with that second quarter injury being sustained. So the luxury of being able to do that with a 46-point lead at a precaution, so we won't see any more of Charlie Curnow in this game for the Blues as they get set to get stuck into it. Carlton haven't been great in second halves this season. They'll be looking for a four-quarter performance. They led it by 46 points as we're underway. They'll be held up in the middle of the ground.
Yeah, Liam Ryan's in there, so he's had 4 clearances. It's actually been the one for West Coast that looks the most likely. In the middle, they're just getting absolutely smashed around the ball for ground ball and contested possession.
Collins will send it forward. Chincotta pushed his man underneath it. Edwards barreled in. It spills away to Lord, to Cripps, and it opens again. The kick to the square. McGovern down there. Jinby, who's got a new opponent after Curnow's been subbed out of the game. Behind the result. There for McCarthy. He's found a fair bit of the footy. Leading disposal winner for the Eagles out there in his first game. Harley Reid, shoved off, was taken high. And takes the advantage it wasn't there, so they'll be allowed to bring it back.
A good call from the umpire too there. No advantage in that particular play.
Harley Reid will send it long. Up to half forward. Punched away by Allen, Weathering that front spot. Haynes goes centrally. High ball. Flynn. Good contested mark. He's done a bit of that, averaging 5 marks a game over recent weeks. The Eagles towards the 50. Hutchinson leading up to it. Weathering took them on. Durden into the action. Subbed at half time, and Carroll's kick just showed too much of it to Duggan.
Yeah, Duggan just came off the bench. Great timing for that interchange, but just highlighting again that forward handball. West Coast collapsing into one player.
Allen the target. Hands to it. Elijah Hewitt wrapped up.
So came off the bench for Harry Edwards, boys. He's gone straight down to the rooms. Must have been a contest right in that first inside 50 entry.
See Charlie Curnow there. So down. Hopefully that half time isn't too significant for him. Harley Reid able to arc around and then step and create and get them moving. Way to Baker. Entry wasn't pretty in the end, but they've tried something a little different. Reid trying to get them going. Leadering for Akers.
Didn't see a lot of this in the first half, did we? A more frenetic type of game.
Long up the line, Flynn front position, crunched into by Cripps and DeConing. Graham to half forward. Akers with an important touch and has to work defensively, wrapped up by a couple of Eagles. And a ball up.
This shows if you can take away that run and gun and force into a more of a straight line game where there's a bit slow, it seems to suit the Eagles a bit more.
Carlton looked so good in the first half. Run and carry. Always had extra numbers. DeConing with the reach. Weedering down there.
I don't think they'll change the way they play in the early development of this new style. I'll keep it similar.
Williams down. Elijah Hewitt bursting through the pack. He just couldn't snap on target, but it's a good sign.
We saw that, didn't we, in the second term in particular, whether it was from centre square bounce or in around the forward 50. He does possess that explosive power.
Clearly got the licence of all or nothing at a 450 stoppage.
So explosive. And Flynn will intercept.
Okay, so this is better, isn't it, from West Coast? A little bit more repeat entry, making Carlton defend.
Better kick from Flynn too this time.
To the advantage of Oscar Allen. DeConing got back. Silvani blocked him out of it well in defence. Weathering's kick. Flynn wins another touch to Harley Reid. Cross now to Graham. He'll launch it back into the hot spot. Again, well, the mark dropped that time, but he was pretty well protected there for DeConing to try to take the mark. And the end bins can go to Durden in the back pocket. Look centrally. Touch through by Oscar Allen. Opens the door for Graham. In short for Dewar.
Well, it's good play, and this is what they did last week in the first half against North Melbourne. They repeat entries, made it really difficult for teams to get out of their back half. Just couldn't get any of this going in the first half. Sco, is the rain cleared up a little bit? We've got a better conditions downstairs.
Yep, umbrellas are away, Simo, which is positive down there on the boundary, but it is still very damp underfoot.
Hasn't kicked a goal in his last 6, playing more defence and on the wing. Tyrell Dewar trying to snap it through, but it was near side. Slow start to this third quarter. Eagles with a bit more territory in the opening few minutes of this third term. Saad out of defence. Plenty of support for the Blues in the building. Hollins, that run continues. Durden with a looping handball to the advantage of Binns. Good kick under pressure. Hollins has continued to run 150 metres there to get up the field, and it's marked, intercepted by Duggan.
So finally cut off by West Coast, but right deep in their D50. They've been really strong tonight, Carlton, from their kick-ins. They've kicked 2 goals. You can see even on that occasion, they're out again. The run from behind, the handball receive. They've been blistering the Blues in that area.
Reigns with another intercept mark. Hewitt, came from a long way to stand the mark there. You see Hutchinson getting some treatment. Blues happy to chip it around.
A different approach this quarter already from Carlton.
A little more patient, trying to open the Eagles' defence up.
Saad for George Hewitt, back to Saad, and that's where that link and run and overlap can hurt the opposition team. It was dropped by Dun, and then Zach Williams was held on to, thrown out of it without the footy.
Saad's important, isn't he? Because he's that link up, he's that sort of give and go player, handball receive.
Yeah, well, Hollins has been the one as well tonight that's really been encouraged to run. He's a great runner, obviously. He'll run 15 kilometres tonight, but he's been almost used every time he runs past. Like it's a team rule, and when Saad gets involved, you're going to get some good looks.
Second game back, Zach Williams kicked 2 last week against the Bombers. Already got 2 tonight from the paint of 50 towards goal, and misses.
Big kick,
Was he into it, didn't he? Yeah.
David will bring it back in.
I'd like to see Liam Duggan exposed into the midfield or pushed in there.
I think he started there at the start of the game. He might have been part of the problem, but just didn't have the explosive power required to get from inside to out. And
so back to the original.
I think we've gone back to the original, and with that Hoff in the side and a bit lacking with that transition mid that can get inside to out.
Marek with the footy. To the contest. Bailey Williams there to Koning to the front. Good intercept for the Blues. Sent it wide for Haynes. Brockman cleverly turned to knock it down. Haynes working at ground level. Eagles with the extra numbers at the spill. Handball, Baker and Graham, and now Bailey Williams on the boot. Inside 50, Wearing had front position on Oscar Allen and intercepts.
He does that so well, doesn't he? Jacob Wiedering having another decent night of intercept marks. He's third.
Look, you can only do what the opposition lets you do, but I thought Bossy wouldn't have been encouraging to go kick mark in the second half. It'd be continue to take the game on.
Silvani's kick, Duggan hands to it. Owen's quickest to respond and releases Fantasia with a bounce inside 50. They get out the back for Akers. And he plays on and he'll finish off the goal. No! He's missed from close range.
Does he know he's missed?
Bad blue there.
He's running off the ground. No,
He knows. He knows.
That's a shocker of a miss for Akers, who played on and he tried to skid it through and it came off that post. The Eagles back out now with Oscar Allen.
first real decent mark on the lead for Oscar. He's been well held tonight.
High ball to half forward. Punched down by Bailey Williams. Baker for Graham, trying to escape. Tackled well by Chera. Bailey Williams around the body. It's always shallow. And that should be 50, shouldn't it, against Reed?
Yes, it should.
And came in afterwards. It had been called to play on. So that one possibly missed. McCarthy played it really well. He's shown some good signs on his debut in the AFL. Look composed. Handball through for Brockman. Up now towards Harley Reid. It sat on his head. Doherty committed on the spoil. Reid back in to try to win it. Good tackle from Saad. Socket in danger there by Brockman. And it's playing too often, but DeConey was going for the footy.
Obviously a wet, slippery evening, but both teams basically by foot. The kicking efficiency way down low. Here's this kicking in danger, certainly there.
It's a definition, I would have thought.
Blues. All drops the footy. Graham nowhere to gather. Now for Hutchinson, wrapped up by Cripps. And McCarthy tucks it under the arm. Showed some dash off half back and a laser-like kick to find Ryan. Out into the path of Cripps, close to the boundary. Trying to do a lot to bring it back from there, out of bounds on the full.
McCarthy looks like he knows what he's doing, ball in hand.
I think that's what we saw in him at Waffle last 2 weeks, and that's what he was producing at the low level. So
Very impressive.
Up to 20 disposals, McCarthy.
a couple of kick-ins, but
Yep.
still got the numbers.
No West Coast Eagles player has had 30 disposals in a game this year.
What's part of the issue that West Coast are dealing with, the 18th in the comp at disposals, and it's the way they play, which has seen good intercept there. It's just the way they play, perhaps, and if they get it right, it can be really dangerous.
And it's highlighted as Clay Hall, perhaps, getting ready, maybe.
Scully?
Yeah, so Clay Hall's been told to warm up by the doctors. Harry Edwards was in a big contest at start of the third quarter. You can see it there. He went straight off the ground. Maybe AC joined. He's now back on the bench, so haven't called the sub yet, but I reckon they're close.
Scully keeps up to date down there. Carlton already making their sub with Charlie Curnow out with calf tightness at the half. Baker wins the footy there. Good to see a goal in this third quarter. Just about halfway through. Jack Williams. He's going to load it up into the pocket. Bailey Williams down there. Wiedering controlled it. Heaves it off a step and it'll go straight back to Jack Williams. A look more centrally this time. Changed his mind. Drives it in deep. Brockman! Oh, he took it on the way down. That's a great contested mark.
Yeah, this is a wonderful effort from Brockman. Sometimes when you hit like that in a contest, you lose where you are and where the ball is, but that's a wonderful mark. Williams drives it back in long. It's a good jump at it, and then it's a great contested mark.
Did so well to find it again as he was falling off balance like that. Average 16 disposals across the last month. Been finding a fair bit more of the footy. The former Hawk for the first goal of the third quarter. He pops it through. Reward for a brilliant mark from Brockman.
Well, when you look at these games and you try and work out who's dictating play and who hit start of this quarter, it's been West Coast. I mean, inside 50s, 10-4. Carlton gone into a slower mode, which whether they've been forced to do it or instructed to do it, we don't quite know. Good reward, great mark, really good mark. He's got good hops. Able to get in the way of the tall sometimes. Have those type of marks, but good reward from West Coast. Have had 7 forward-half turnovers this quarter, and I don't think they've really changed the way they play. It's stuck to what I was expecting to do.
Frustrating for Michael Watson. You're wanting them to push on in the second half, given their form line this year after the major break. I see the difference it's been in first halves to second this year for Carlton. Kelly, get it on the boot with a high ball towards the 50. Cripps punched away by Doherty. Hewitt left it behind. Saad to Binns. Out wide to the wing. Bounce will be important. Eagles have the extra number. Control well by McCarthy. Playing a great game on debut. High ball, test of strength, Wiedering, bang.
Well, it's the opposite of what we saw in the first quarter and first half, really, where there was more Carlton numbers going to the ball. They're outnumbering West Coast a lot. Whereas this quarter, you're right, Simo, there, in between the arcs in particular, as the sub has been made there.
Jaden Hunt, Pav has been sub tactically. Harry Edwards, Lazarus, he's back on the field. So Clay Hall, the Peel Thunder product, he's on the ground in the midfield right now.
Only had the 2 disposals, Jaden Hunt. Subbed out of the game. Clay Hall into it after some good waffle form. It goes up the line. McGovern controlled it down. And you imagine Cotter there, and they worked it brilliantly. And then McGovern set it up to Williams. McGovern continues to roll down into the pocket. Williams looks centrally into the path of Fantasia. Missed with the boot. McCarthy put his head over it. Run it out to Jimby. Hewitt. Back for Jimby. It's that left boot, and it's squeezed in for room and send it out on the
No
full.
right side.
No, he's quite in between trying to get the target, but
It's good pressure. That's a bit better from Carlton. Getting it off the first half of this third term.
As Hollands lost it. Ryan picked his pocket. Marek in there. Knocked it across to Hewitt. Tackle lingered a touch. Bins. Hollands steps inside Baker. Flip the handball through. Advantage goes the Blues' way. Short was there. Chincotta pulls the trigger on the kick and Brock takes them up.
so much more dangerous when they take the game on and use their hands, and West Coast obviously can't handle that at the moment. There's too many going to the play with the ball. I just wonder why they've gone to the kick mark game where it doesn't seem to suit them tonight.
Hutchinson with a long kick. Bailey Williams hands to it. Jack Williams over the top. Brockman fed it out. Graham inboard. Elijah Hewitt lost it. Hollands claimed him. Goes back in to win it again. The Blue dispossessed in the tackle. McCarthy with another touch. Number 23. He's going to have a nice ball eagle on the booster in as the kick goes inside 50 from Cripps out the back. It's Flynn. Couldn't bring it down. Wiedering did enough. The takeaway by Binns. He was having the better of it in this third term. O'Keefe in there. Can get it back. Lord with a fumble. Got it across to Hewitt. Couldn't hang on. Still like a cake of soap out there after the earlier rain. Now Hall, the sub. His kick shallow. Chopped off by Chera. Most possessions on debut by an Eagle. Greg Clark with 24 back in 2022. McCarthy's got 23 right now. So they can get Hollands again. He's run so well. He was almost claimed by Ryan. He just had the awareness to step back inside. Now Motlop. George Hewitt. On a half volley to Chera. They straighten up now and find Durden. He copped a nasty shove and the pinball affects as Baker go to ground, but Durden will have a set shot.
That's much better. That's the type of play. It wasn't necessarily link up hands. It was spot kicks this time.
Oh yeah, every kick hit the deck, but there's a strategy to that too, though, where you make the ground as big as you can. You expose West Coast with their work rate, you get them tired, and then you can pick holes through. Quite often happens towards the end of the third quarter when the game opens up a little bit.
Michael Voss doesn't
I don't think
watch.
he's
He's not happy about this.
Frustrated. Corey Durden kicked 9 goals in his first 4 games. Only 1 in his last 3. Finds himself back in the side, wanting to make the most of his opportunities, and he just got to pass the paint of the post.
A nice finish in the end. Michael Voss not happy with the system or the way they're moving the ball, and we've highlighted that quite a bit this third term after what was just a magnificent start from the Blues to begin this game. Hollands, I liked his endeavour. He's been the one a number of times. Yes, okay, a couple of missed kicks, but he's been really trying to invent off that half-back line, trying to run and create. And they finally get one to hit a target. A nice kick from Chera.
Yeah, he's run all day, Hollands. He's been the instigator with the overlap handball. Not sure how he goes with the spot kicks, but turning up is one of his real strengths, and he's been rewarded tonight.
Back in the middle they go. Flynn, DeConey. Really went after the footy in the end. Ball in there. George Hewitt got it out. Chera lost it. Hewitt with a swing. Missed it. Graham. Ryan looks up. Has an option. Overcooked the kick. Rolls away and out of play.
He's looked lively, hasn't he? Laying right in there.
It's been a good move him playing in the middle. They've actually been on top in the centre bounces today.
They're 12-5 out of the centre too.
And that's been a struggle. They're 18 from the comp, but that's a big tick for West Coast.
Coney working hard to win the hit out. Knocked down. Brockman got past Carroll. Now Dewar almost out of play. Hooks it back to a dangerous position. Blues with the extra number there in defence. Able to see it over the boundary.
This shows you how important it is, those centre bounce clearances, as much as they were capitalised today, but they get an opportunity to lock the ball in their front half.
Was he out here when he kicked it? Pretty close to. Knocked down. Coning there. Rockman. Got it across to Graham. Kick, not 15 for Dewar. From 50 and to Trent Water goes in short to Bailey Williams.
That may not be 15 either. Saw one last time, but I reckon it was almost 35 metres.
Yes.
It was not 15, but well done from West Coast. We saw this quite a bit, haven't we, in this third term, where repeat entries, you know, able to put enough pressure on around the ball and then be in the right spot to get a shot at goal. It's much better from the Eagles in this third term.
Bailey Williams to line them up. His best in a season is 6 back in 2022. He's already got 1 tonight. Make it 5 for the year. And that'll get it done. A goal kicker inside 50. Bailey Williams playing his role.
Spoke off there about Graham and what he might be able to do for West Coast. It's not the number one player in the team, but plays an important role. He's had 9 possessions. Right about his game, he's just tough. And needed a bit of toughness at half time. So I thought a big tick to him in terms of the message he would have said at half time. I don't think he would have tinkered too much with system or style. Would have been put your head over the ball, get some field position and work from there.
Yeah, to highlight that, they've had 9 chains out of the attacking mids. Excuse me, it has been the fact that they've been able to get the ball into their forward half, put some pressure on, keep it there, and then score.
Williams now kicked multiple goals in 3 of his last 4 games. An impact inside 50, so Harley Reid will get the free. And he would love to just send it to half forward. Cripps was there, Saad knocked it down. Eagles quickest to recover. Cripps dribbles a kick inside 50. Oscar Allen knocked it back to Hall. Dewar waiting to accept, tried the hot shoe shuffle and broke the ankles of Carroll and then sends it to the square. Merrick flying in.
Great step, wasn't it? What was
Disappointed if you're Carlton and Michael at the moment with what's happening. It's been a good response, but
well, it's time for them now to respond.
Absolutely.
The question's been put back to them. Yes, it's still a 41-point victory, but they started this game so well. Can they drive it home?
Eagles winning the quarter as it stands. Knocked down into the path of Bailey Williams. The skip step, just not the connection. Good tackle from Hayes.
Great tackle.
West Coast might not have the power to get back into this game, but they're winning the quarter, which is a big tick. And for Carlton, for them to go anywhere this year, these are the type of games you need to play for 4 quarters and really get that percentage going.
Doherty. First kick to Doherty probably wasn't 15. The second one wasn't paid. Back to the defensive goal square. It seems like this season, if you just take a short kick into the back pocket either side,
Play on.
it's just going to be play on. One kick out of defence this time. Punched by Koning over the line.
Hey, just on your chat on Jack Graham before, what I've really loved about him being at the footy club, I watch him closely each game from the boundary here, and he's the first to get to every teammate when they kick a goal or do something well. I reckon that's maybe something that's missed a little bit at West Coast over the last 18 months, and he's really bringing that right now.
18 disposals in this one. It's all. We'll get a clean possession away. Duggan tackled. Closing in on 200 games. Liam Duggan, game number 193 today. One behind Will Schofield on the game's tally for the Eagles. He wins the footy here. Sends a high ball inside 50. Punch down by McGovern. Soccer away. By Saad. And quite clear. Pressure there from the Eagles from Cripps, the veteran, working hard to keep it locked inside 50.
Well, they've put McGovern behind the ball now, so it's real in terms of the dominance West Coast have got. So McGovern plays as an extra defender for the last 2.5 minutes.
Williams wasn't looking at the footy as it was thrown up. The Koning able to knock it away. And now Carroll can get it out of defence. And that continued run from Hollins. They fit it forward. One ball from Fogarty. Back to Carroll. Up to half 40. Pulled the kick in nicely to O'Keefe. Baker attacked it. O'Keefe bounced back to his feet. And he chips it up, but he couldn't connect with Fantasia.
Oh, he's a good sort as well. There's no hamstring here.
So an awkward kick forward in the end. It's Jimby across the defensive 50.
I don't think he hit
Hutchinson.
it. I don't think you hit 34k an hour on that one though. Just a crampy stone on the ground.
Back with Duggan. Now up to McCarthy. There is equaling the record for disposals on the Blue Vine Eagle.
Good saw. Okay.
Ali Reid over the top for Dewar. They've got options inside 50. Screaming for in the pocket. A poor kick off the instep. Oscar Allen was waiting for an age for the footy to be hit in his direction. Bins to Hollins. And Cripps hasn't had to have a big impact on the game since quarter time, given the lead was set up. All sent wide as Durden slides in.
There's a very quiet third term. Patrick Gibbs, 2 disposals. Sort of highlights the lack of penetration at all this quarter.
Run from Bins and Fogarty drops in to take the mark. Inside this last minute of the third term.
Looks like maybe Hall might have a job on Cripps, which is a great result if that's the case.
Fogarty, 3 goals in the first term. Going to kick forward in the AFL. He's not going to here because he gives it across to Silvani. And sprays it out wide. Akers there. McCarthy will get the handball away. Most disposals on debut by an Eagle, but he saw Brock into some trouble. Who tried to step, holding the ball. Free kick to Carlton and a chance to level things up in this first third quarter.
Well, I've seen a little bit with Brock, and unfortunately he's a young player still working his way into his career, but the game was just a bit too quick for him on a couple of occasions, especially with ball in hand.
There's a bit sore here. Jack Silvani got the high one.
Siren and Sturden can't step around to take the shot. Right forward pocket. Goes out of bounds on the full. And the opposite. Already third quarter. The slog between these two sides. Carlton led it by 46 at the half. Drop that third term to the Eagles, who end up winning it by a kick. As we turn for home in the West, the margin is 40 points.
All right, there we go. 3/4 time, 11-11-77 the Blues, 5-7-37 the Eagles. A better quarter by the Eagles. Of course, I think they won that quarter. The Blues only putting on 1 goal, 3. 2 goals, 3 with the Eagles. There we go. I tell you what, if you take that opening term away, folks, if you take that opening term away from that margin, second and third quarter, well, since the opening quarter, 4 goals, 6 the Eagles have put on. Carlton have only put on 4 goals, 7. So after the opening quarter, there's only 1 point the difference. So everything is reasonably even. I tell you what, Vossi, I wouldn't think of the Carlton coach to be too happy what his players have been doing in that third term. He would have wanted those to continue on the merry way like the opening term and put the Eagles right away. But the Eagles showing a little bit of fight, even though it's a 40-point margin and the Carlton will probably go on to win this match quite easily. I think it was good to see the Eagles put a little bit of a fight up in that third term. And tell you what, she's slippery out there. Players are having a little bit of trouble handling the ball, as they said. It's like a little bit like a cake of soap with that misty rain, and it's just slippery and sliding everywhere. The ball, tell you what, even some players are having trouble taking the chest marks. But that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. So it'll be very interesting what team actually wants to give it their all in this final quarter. Do the Eagles want to try and continue to keep pressing, just to see if they can close that gap up as much as possible? Or does Carlton actually want to pull their finger out and try and extend this margin, whereas the percentage they could have gotten out of this game could have been absolutely crucial come the end of the season? We'll just have to wait and see. But there we go. We've got 1 quarter of football left for round 14 on a wet, drizzly day over there in Perth, Optus Stadium. let's go and have a look at the goal scorers again, because there wasn't too many goals added there. But if we have a little bit of a look, top of the table, Lockie Fogarty from Carlton, as I said, hasn't added to his tally since quarter time with 3. Zach Williams 2. McGovern now with 2. Durden, De Koning, Curno's been subbed out. Charlie Curnow off the ground. He has been subbed. Singh Cotter 1. And for West Coast Eagles, Bailey Williams with a couple. Elijah Hewitt, Cripps, and Brookman with 1. Oh, let's just have a look at the disposal count. There we go. Tom McCarthy, I think he's the most disposal getters on the ground for the West Coast Eagles, and I think for any debutant player to have played for the Eagles. George Hewitt tops the table, though, for Carlton on 28. Adam Sard, 21. Harley Reid, well, not a bad game from him, 21. He's actually given it a good hard crack today, so good to see that from Harley Reid. We'll just keep on rolling down there. There we go. Try and get down to Jack Williams if I can find him somewhere. What did I say? He had about 8 disposals, so we'll get down and see whether we can find him for you. Yeah, he was down forward. There's Jack Williams. And of course, he's at the 8 disposals, 6 kicks, 2 handballs, 4 marks, 2 tackles, and 2 hit-outs. So there are Jack Williams' stats right there. And they're the rest of your player stats up until 3/4 time. But I tell you what, it's going to be interesting final quarter to see who actually wants this more. Does Carlton want to rest on their laurels? I tell you what, we've had some good votes in here, and 52% said Carlton, 48% said West Coast. So it was a little bit tired. You just need him for 1 goal. Don't think it's happening though. Hey, you never know. Keep the fingers crossed. West Coast actually got inside their forward 50 quite a few times. Then just unfortunately he couldn't snare one for you. So no matter how much we lose by, I'll never not watch a game till the end. Don't understand people leave once the team. Yeah, I don't understand that either. You know, if my team's losing, I still watch. I don't see the point in just watching your team, supporting your team when they're winning only. You've got to watch them when they win or lose. There's been situations, Jay, that people have left the ground because their team, the opposition's kicked a quick couple, and then they got 4 or 5 goals behind, and then they go, "Oh, it's it. We're leaving early," and then the team's actually fought back and won. So, I always think, just stick to it. Watch the team out. I enjoy the whole match. Win, lose or draw, I always enjoy watching the footy, and even if they're going down, because even if your team's not winning, you can still sort of see some of the things they're doing, things that you think, they can improve on and they're getting better at, and then hope for the following week and weeks to come. But there we go. I don't know. Especially when you're at the game. Well, it depends how hard it is to get out of the car park at some games, but I always stay to the end and just enjoy it no matter what happened. Aura AFL boy said, "Hi, how you doing? Welcome in." All right, let's head back down to the ground for the final quarter. It's the Blues by 40.
It's the Swans, obviously.
It's not the Eagles.
He's right up
40-point lead to the Blues as we start the final term in the West. A big fend-off. Did that go high from Cripps? He's able to drive them forward. And McGovern on the lead. We spoke about Carlton's second halves, and that's pretty clear intent right at the first bounce to start this final quarter.
Michael Boss, perhaps at 3/4 time, he was urging his players to respond. That might have been hard from Patrick Cripps, but this is exactly what Boss was talking about, I'm sure, at 3/4 time. Let's get back to our contest work. Let's get back to moving the ball quickly and impact the scoreboard.
Second halves have been poor this year, the Blues. They lost the third quarter, and they might be determined to finish strong. McGovern's kicked his third.
Well, we spoke about what Carlton were doing in that third quarter. It was a bit about the ball movement, but they lost the clearances by 7, and we see one here where possibly a free kick, but lose the clearances by 7, they lose the contest by 8, and their DNA is built off contest and clearance. So to get back to that and get a goal out of the middle, they're always a bonus, but they're a high-scoring part of the game. So great start for them this quarter.
Yeah, they've done it actually off turnover largely, not their strength, which is, as you said, Simo, contest and clearance. So Michael Voss saying, right, let's get back to our DNA, let's get moving.
Harry McIno, Charlie Curnow, Mitch McGovern enjoying his time up forward. 3 goals this afternoon. It's now Chera to Cripps, tackled by Hall, just got it back to Chera, and we'll get another clearance out of the middle to start this final quarter. McGovern up to meet it again. Get the handball through. Bo Allen trying to get out of defence with some dash, and then a kick wide. Carroll and Harley Reid. Boundary line will win and over the interchange.
Well, Allen shows some dash, doesn't he? He beelines the ball well, and you can certainly see why he was taken early by the Eagles.
He's part of the future. He's only 3 or 4 games in his career.
Going front spot, then got a hit out at it. Akers, Chera, now George Hewitt is leading the way for the Blues. 29 disposals. Cripps, Akers trying to take them on. You won't get away from Graham, and holding the ball to call. Second in the AFL for tackles this season. Behind Atkins at Geelong. There's a good one there.
He's at 6 tonight. This is a beauty as well.
Up towards Cripps, ball punched away.
Just a little bit disorganised West Coast around these clearances. Cripps has been on his own. Thought he might have been getting some attention, but we see Hall head towards him now as McCullough watches on.
Because Fred is stoppage. Straight down, get it from Chera. Little fumble though. Cripps closed the distance and a bit front.
Yeah, so Duggan's the one off the back at the moment.
Yeah,
and
readjust.
And Akers is, or a Carlton player, is completely free here.
Well, Akers is
There
a
is
winger
Duggan.
and he pushed right into the clearance. Now you've got Cripps free, which I would have thought is probably not plan A when you're playing Carlton.
Duggan just waiting off as the ball's knocked down. Elijah Hewitt in there. George Hewitt got up to Hollins, to Cripps. Crunched by Graham. Another big tackle. Dislodged the footy. Duggan sends it in. Harley tried a hanger. Well, that's an unrealistic attempt to step on a teammate. And the ball's over and
Maybe
out.
it was a set play.
Get the lift. People always talk about doing that on the goal line. He loves to fly for the footy. Boundary throw in. Side attack for the Eagles. Again, both rucks very far back when they start. It's socket forward. And it's out of play. I guess it's classified as a hit out, so that's why it's not insufficient intent.
I guess they're afraid of showing their back to their position and therefore getting pushed under, but a long way back.
This time knocked down. Roll out with Hollins.
I mean, they've been okay, the West Coast double ruck team, but it hasn't really been a massive factor of the game tonight. Playing an extra tall wasn't the right call with this weather.
Down Bailey Williams, cleverly to Cripps, and now to Marek off that right boot. He couldn't squeeze it through. Just touched off the boot.
When did you normally make a call on that? If there was some conditions around, they have been trying to play a bit taller, but when would you not like to make that call?
I think it depends on who you are. Last night we saw Fremantle with 2 rucks, stick with it with the wet weather, and there's 110 stoppages.
Harley Reid with a fend, and now Elijah Hewitt to Graham, will hook it back to the hot spot. Haynes will attack and intercept.
Well, it really depends on the coach. Some will decide game day to make a call if it's that wet, but most teams will stick with the plan.
The laid out that is often topical with a few teams.
I think it's okay to make a call if it's the weather.
Yeah.
It's just a tough conversation with the players prepped all week to play.
Haynes out to half-back with a good kick for Akers. Chera. Look like pass through to Sard, and he'll always take off and run over the top for Cripps, but Ryan just enough reach to knock it away. Wins it back now for Hall. The Eagles can roll and go. More direct route this time, Bailey Williams.
Is it the threat at times, Bailey Williams up forward? That turnover in that area of the ground exposes the assertive defenders, but he's had a reasonable night, Williams.
Once again, I mean, positive from West Coast, but Carlton deciding to go this kick through the zone and spot kick their way through. I just don't know if we've got the skill at the moment to execute that.
A good return inside 50. The last few matches that he's played, Bailey Williams. He's got 2 already tonight. He's never kicked 3 in a game. It's a good set shot. He has now his best return in the AFL.
That's good point. He hasn't been a good set shot. The set shots have been pretty poor over the years. Actually, have you seen anything different with his style? He obviously did something with the ball in the hand before he went in it to turn over centre back with it.
I think it's a pretty simple routine now, and generally speaking, kicking goal, if you've got everything straight at the target and enough momentum through the ball, then generally speaking, you should go through so many of the big sticks, and sometimes players do play complicated.
Yeah, well, he's worked on it, no doubt, because it was something he was really working on when I was there, and sometimes it's just volume. Just got to get as many kicks as you can. Sometimes it's technique as well.
So recruited as a forward to play there predominantly. He's had to spend a lot of time in the ruck in the early parts of his career, all off hands. What Duggan tackled.
He did, through necessity. Nick Nat was struggling to get on the park, and we didn't really have a major ruck.
Brings the sign today. Archie Reid left out. Play Hall extracted it. Ryan taken to ground. George Hewitt to Binns. Inside 50, punched away by Brock Durden, quick to recover. Zach Williams can be dangerous in this situation. He goes up and under. Won't be the 15. Might bring some more rain with that kick. It's touched away and off play. Scully.
Yeah, so Hudson O'Keefe wasn't in cramp, boys. He's got ice on that right hammy, so he's done for the day. And Jack Silvani's just come out from downstairs with the doctor as well. So Carlton may win this game, but may have some issues down the track, especially in the tall departments.
Real concern for Michael Voss. Now decoding out of the ruck.
That does change your philosophy a bit. If you're down on numbers, there's some injuries popping up, then you may want to change the tempo of the game a little bit, especially if you've got the win in the bag.
There's 3 matches, the MCG, White Oval, MCG. Today at Optus Stadium, it's actually the 5th venue that the Blues have played at this season. They're only going to play at 5 venues this season, till finals perhaps, if they can push their way up there. Every other team plays at least 7 different venues this year. The Giants play at 12. Blues with 5.
Inequity of the draw, just playing out beautifully in those stats there, perhaps.
MCG, Marvel, Adelaide Oval and ESCG, the places, and Optus Stadium now. The Blues have played at this year.
Just gone well, isn't it?
He uses the ball really well.
Up to 28 disposals, and as I said before, no Eagle has had 30 disposals in a game this year. He could do it in his first one. All sent long. Brockman elevating. Kelly. Hall away. Duggan into the pocket. Flynn knocked it down the throat of Ryan across to Harley Reid. A little fumble, a little spin, a little snap, a big goal.
Brilliant from Harley Reid. We know what he can do. He's actually had a decent night. Harley's had some bad moments as well, which might cost him in the long run. But brilliant work here from Brockman to make that contest, and then a couple of first gives. Look, it might have been a free kick here from too high, but a first give again from Glenn Ryan, and we know what he can do when he has ball in hand. Not quite saying might have been touched, but classy finish.
Heading back to the middle, which is always a sign. A little confusion for the players in the over, but I think he's had 23 possessions, 14 contested, 5 clearances, 320 metres gained, so
Well done by Saad. They got their hands up. Got a touch on the footy on the way through.
well, he knew he was standing in the square waiting for the kick in.
Really shaking their head. Unhappy.
This is what Harley Reid being upset with that one, obviously, for the ball to get back the other side. I'm not sure why he's not the ball right now. There's another 30 seconds that we could do within the game as compared to holding it up, but Voss, I think, yes, okay, he's got a few injuries, but he want to finish this game strongly to really, you know, 5 and 7 to get that percentage, but also to get a bit of momentum towards finals. Really finish this game out running.
Doherty, back forward, switched out towards Haynes.
He would, unless he gets another injury. Then it's like blow the siren and let's control as quick as we can. This kick mark stuff is not really working on.
Getting back to Haynes. Now for Hewitt. Along the line, Cripps. Paying close attention, but Cripps able to hold the front position. Busier in this final quarter as opposed to the third. Very wide kick. Just stayed in the field of play. Terrific hands from McGovern.
He might be needed here for a while now, McGovern.
Chips it in quickly. Fantasia able to take the mark on a tough angle in that right forward pocket. He's been extremely valuable, McGovern, inside 50.
Really good. And he cut his teeth at Adelaide as a forward and he worked his way down back, but now he's got good craft, good hands, he's a good kick.
Fantasia's had a pretty good night as well, along with McGovern up there. He's had 493 metres gained. Right up there for the Blues in terms of that area. Can he finish with a goal?
Isaiah Fantasia looking for his first of the night. And he hangs that one well out to it. Points the lead for the Blues. It was 39 back at quarter time. It's been pretty even since that point. Only Williams knocks it down by Hall. Holland's cleverly done to Akers. Wants a target. McGovern again. Great spoil by Edwards. A desperate lunge with that already sore shoulder pushing through the pain to punch the footy out of play.
Yeah, wonderful spoil. Really, really impressive. He's obviously sore out there. You can see favouring it a bit, but
nasty one. Putting his body on the line. Coney. Soccer kick away. Baker clean down low. Bounce across the defensive 50. Has to be a good kick towards Stewart. Now they can run and spread. Down the line they go. Ryan was trying to turn. Zard punched the footy. Handball away now. Brock is an eagle down. Oscar Allen off the play. And that looks serious as they go inside 50 to Jack Williams, but Oscar Allen has gone down off the ball.
He was running back towards goal and then just collapsed, so let's hope it's not an Achilles or some type of bad knee, ankle injury, but he's not well.
Always a worry if there's no one around. Dave. Hopefully it's not that left knee.
So much talk around Oscar Allen this season. A number of different fronts. And that looks a concerning sight for the Eagles skipper as he's helped from the ground. Jack Williams with the set shot. He misses.
It's that left leg that you can hardly put any weight through it whatsoever. Is there knee issues on that left side, Simo? Or?
He has, but when something like that happens, when it's off the ball, you just hope it isn't something sinister. I mean, he's played a lot of football recently. He hasn't missed too much.
There's a big story right there. Fingers crossed for Oscar Allen. It isn't as serious as what it looks, but help from the ground with the trainers there. A tough afternoon, getting worse for West Coast. Now Doherty. Go back. Wittering. Switch it up to Haynes. Good lull around the ground after seeing Oscar Allen go off the ground like that.
Back on Carlton, this is a distinct strategy in the second half. Maybe they're trying something different. They had 50 handball receives in the first quarter as we
Oscar looks to
get some vision.
very, very sore going down the race there. Get an update as soon as we can on what's happened there.
Because they had 50 handball receives in the first quarter and 60 for the rest of the game. So different modes. It's good to have different modes to go to if you need to. Clearly, this is one of control.
Weitering will go wide. All there. Bailey Williams with just a little bit extra on that spoil. Knocked it down. Read a step and then a left foot kick placed nicely.
Just not doing it very well. I hope that's not an issue.
Yeah, when you turn it over like that in your forward half, you're exposed now. They haven't been able to really get this to a deep entry, but it's in the hands of Jamie Cripps, who's pretty good from this range.
Couple leads on short, and Liam Ryan moves up into the pocket.
Just easy playing together, those two. But yeah, look, it was 40 points, 40-odd points at half-time. So, look, if you have a 7 or 8 goal win, you take it every day of the week. So, overall, it's been a positive night for Carlton.
Ryan rocking the long sleeves tonight. Go back from a pretty tough angle. 10 goals for the season as he lines this up. It's always going near side. Going to be a difficult kick from there. Margin just ticks under 40.
There's carnage everywhere at the moment. Harry Edwards getting his left hamstring tested. Maybe it's cramped, you know, it looks like a bit of pickle juice, but been a busy night down at the boundary line.
Now Hollins with a high ball. Push, shove, McGovern. Off hands, knocked down. Brock and Hutchinson tackled. Be a ball up.
Tackle number 50, 51 for the Blues. They started on fire with their pressure and their tackle, and it's just they gapped the game early. They were so good, but with the decision to go kick mark a little bit, there hasn't been as many stoppages and also opportunities to tackle.
That's at 15 metres. That's a short pass. Fogarty's got it. Had a good game. 3 in the first quarter. As the Blues ran riot in wet conditions and popped the space open up.
Brock saw it as well. Maybe caught one in the eye.
Popped a knock and allowed McGovern to take the mark. Chikoto dropped the footy. Duggan across to Baker. Now Kelly. The Dewar. He's found a bit of it. I suppose number 22. Mark for Duggan, who got it from Baker. Silvani punched it. Went a long way back defensively. Weitering there. Back for Silvani. Look out, Duggan. Crunching through. Still some good intent. Late on in this one. Bailey Williams. Away to Graham. Copped a push as he got the kick away. Missed Kelly. Missed Ryan. And Shearer. Out of defence. Jimby's there. Akers trying to protect the footy and take the mark. Good hands to Durden. Forward to Doherty. The run continues. Akers surging towards the 50. Lays it up. Punched away. And McCarthy will take the mark after a spoil. Cleverly done.
Rising star in his first game. Has that happened through the mid-season draft?
Sorry about a mid-season draft.
Family there celebrating.
Family, look at that. They're loving it.
The McCarthy fan club in there. They're loving
They look like the guys on draft night that were carrying on like pork chops.
all dressed up as an eagle. One of them.
Where's the eagle?
All set away. He's got 29 disposals. McCarthy on debut. A bit of push and shove. Hollins down there. He's calling for it long. He wants to run and launch. Charlie at it once, twice, almost reeled it in. He's crashing through that pack. Ward's kick will lob with Merrick.
Perhaps the only highlight I'm looking for in this last quarter is a Harley Reid. Hanger.
Merrick's got it. Doesn't want to pull the trigger. He'll go back to McCarthy. And this will be disposal number 30. The first time an Eagle has registered that tally in a game this season, and it comes from the mid-season draftee playing in his first game. Ryan, back to the hot spot. Kelly down there. De Koning brought it to ground. Zach Williams, Marek over it. Hutchinson, good tackle from Motlop.
just Tim Kelly's form's dropped away. I know he's playing different roles, a permanent half forward, but he's struggling to have impact on the game.
Cripps with a high fan there on Flynn in the ruck.
Be a long 5 minutes, Pav.
5 goals in this last half. It just hasn't really been much flow from either team, has it? And both teams are sore. There's a couple of cramps and some issues.
All set up. Doherty knocked it down. Trips little fumble. Graham in there trying to take it. Another good tackle. Hewitt leading the way with 32 disposals for the Blues. Chera 26, Binns with 26. Carthy the best for the Eagles with 30. Only Reid with 24. Cripps, Silvani, spills to Chera. Down Akers. Up to DeConey.
Just no intent to move the ball quickly whatsoever. It's been their signature in their second half, and there's been probably some reason for that.
Another 20 disposal game now for DeConey. 4 of the last 5 of his games. He's had 20 plus touches.
George Hewitt's had a big night. This will be possession 33.
High ball in. Jimby had eyes for it. Ups it away over the bench.
Boys, there's still a fair bit of action down there. Harry Edwards is icing his left hammy. I know he's holding it there, but Ice is coming for that. Of course, Oscar Allen off the ground as well. That'll be significant, not just for Oscar, which is clearly the most important part, but for future dealings for West Coast as well, depending on what that injury is.
It's going to be a big story. Scully. I'm talking about whether he should be playing given his future and the speculation around that. It's a significant injury as Marek around his body. Good kick controlled out wide to Dewar.
You're right about Dewar. He's had a good night. He's had a lot of the ball. Disposal's been under par for him, but getting his hands on the ball.
Ireland back to Dewar. Started the season really promisingly. Slowed down a touch, found himself out of the side and now having an impact. A good kick to Baker. Who sends it high, tees it up. Hutchinson rising. Couldn't get there. Elijah Hewitt on the fly. Didn't make great connection. And a pitch on the boundary line.
Carthy
Boundary throw.
is coming off the ground. He looked sore as well. He actually, his 30th disposal when he kicked it, he immediately grabbed his leg. So he's gone off. You can see here, maybe he's gassed just in his first game of AFL footy, but
Had too much
Been
of
a
it.
fair step up, I would have thought, from
They're thrown in. Kicked away by Silvani. Out of the fence. Not the fall. Hutchinson the tackle.
what can Carlton do, Simo, to the rest of this season, given where they're at now, sort of 12th on the ladder, heading into this round 5 and 7? They'll come away with a pretty strong victory, but can you see them pressing?
In first quarter, absolutely, yeah. You see the
Advantage there in the end for Carlton and be out of play.
I mean, they've got in the next 3 weeks North Melbourne, Port, and then Collingwood, so there just can't be any slip-ups.
Yeah.
To be honest, they're coming from a long way back, and their good looks really good tonight, but the second gear down is probably too low at the moment. They need to capitalise on teams they really should be playing 4 quarters against.
Hope to get Mary Mackay back next few weeks. With Kerno's a concern with that calf.
Well, that's the other piece, isn't it? It's the injuries become really important, and if you Carlton, they do rely on their best players. And tonight's been a bit more of an even performance, so that's a big tick, but they do need the best players available.
Sam Walsh's injury really surprised a lot. Hot spot in his foot after training during the week. Set to miss 5-6 weeks, somewhere around there.
You know, if you're West Coast, they look tired. They need the break. You know, it's been a big first half of the year for them.
They go through without it. Bumps off Chera. Still been going at it all night. Hollands breaks up another. High ball. Declining over the top. Jinby stood in the space. Zach Williams to Cripps. To Lord. High ball. The direction of Jordan! Trying to get the sit. Almost a highlight late. Couldn't quite pull off the Moorcroft and ball knocked away and a push.
Just wind the clock back 25 years, perhaps.
Just a little.
Fair effort.
Fogarty. Haynes.
Nice kick.
Inside. And the tempo clearly gone right out of it. Big pocket.
A little bit. You would have thought that the West Coast got their bye coming up, and it'll be a week too long because they've lost a few soldiers tonight, and to contemplate in the break about what they're going to attack in the back half of the year with a young group that's at their best competitive.
Pushing. Try to at least win the second half. The Blues. 46 points at half time. 39 before the kick from Williams. And into the post. As he said, back in frustration.
It's interesting, isn't it? If you said to Andrew McQualter before the game, we're going to beat Carlton in clearances and match them somewhat in the contested possession, it's just been largely off turnover tonight, where the Blues have been rock solid. That's a nice kick.
Knocked down by Gronk. Graham. Gronk through. Elijah Hewitt. Flynn. Got it to Jimby. Weave his way through. Ali Reid. Disposal 28.
There's the future of those three players. Hewitt, Jimby Reid.
To Dewar. Long ball in for Jack Williams. Presenting up some of the youngsters getting involved for the Eagles. A minute remaining. We'll go back to the set shot.
That's a good point, Timo, in terms of the age. They are the second youngest this round, the least experienced West Coast. You can see they're in that transition mode, aren't they?
They weren't really blown open in the first quarter, but since then, the Eagles have fought hard to try to reduce the deficit. Jack Williams kicks the goal and it's back to 34 points.
Still scratching my head to see if there's more about West Coast in the second half. And I spoke earlier about the good response that they got from a really disappointed coach, or was it Carlton, the way they've come out in the second half knowing the game's probably won, and what do they need to do to just get through the rest of the game versus trying to capitalise on a really good first half.
I guess the glass half full is if you're Carlton, well, we got into a great lead and we just pulled stumps a little bit early just to manage the clock and also manage some bodies.
34 points the margin with 34 seconds on the clock to finish as we restarted there. It's knocked away Chera to Carroll. Scrubs a kick through. Koning will gather and the Blues get a late one. One ball in, punched away, Durden. Gave it up to Jimby. Eagles will get out of there. Play Hall. The Dewar. Ball out towards Graham. Ball knocked away. As the seconds tick down, Elijah Hewitt will keep it rolling through. Knocked down. A little arm wrestle through the last three quarters. But a win to Carlton. Set up with a dominant first quarter. They jumped out of the blocks with 7 goals to 1 in the first term. That was enough to claim the 4 points they were searching on their trip out west. The 6th win of the season. Carlton by 34 points. It may come at a cost though. An injury to Charlie Curnow. A few other players feeling the effects as well. But it was a blitz really in the first term.
It was an ambush, and the way they played was, they matched the Eagles in the clearances, but the contest and the general play ball movement was just exceptional. They've got a 6-day break coming up, so I understand why the trip back from Perth, as we see. Disappointing tonight. Carthy, excellent performance. He'll get the Rising Star, won't he?
Yeah, certainly was. On to who he had the 31 disposals. The big story of the night, though, for West Coast is the injury to their co-captain in Oscar Allen, who, off the play, went down and was helped from the field. Still not exactly sure what happened with Oscar. He was all in space by himself, it seemed, and with a lower leg injury. A lot of speculation about his future. So many headlines around him today. But first and foremost, we hope that injury isn't as severe as it looks.
Yeah, he was running off ball as the ball was being transitioned on the other side the rest of the season. Oscar Allen, you're right, Pat, there's been a lot of talk about his future. If that rules him out for the rest of the season, I just wonder what that means for his career as well.
Yeah, it's hard to speculate now, isn't it? Hopefully it's nothing.
Hope it's not too bad yet.
Yeah, but you know, they're missing obviously Oscar next week, but McGovern, Elliot Yeo, Waterman, and you sort of see how important those leaders are. But tonight's probably more about Carlton than it is West Coast.
Let's get down to Kathleen.
Yes, I got Charlie Curnow alongside me. That looked like a bruising encounter. Injuries for Carlton and West Coast, but hey, you got the 4 points. It's going to be a better home trip home for you guys.
Yeah, it's always nice on the red eye tonight, so it's good to get a win. I mean, I said to the boys at 3/4 time, we're both down, 2 tools down, so it's an exciting opportunity for our small forwards to have a run around and probably experience something they might not, get to experience for the rest of the year. And I think they did really well, put on a lot of pressure and kicked a few goals.
How proud are you? Such an even team performance tonight.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. So, I don't know, it was really good to see Chesley's continuing some really good form and stuff like that. So, the boys were really good.
And also the different modes. I mean, so run and gun in the start. I think you had about 50 handball receives in the first quarter, and then it was quite different looking in the second half. What was the directive behind that?
I think because we did have a few injuries, probably you want to take the game a little bit slower, maybe get a few more untested marks. But as a forward, I was loving what we're doing in the first quarter. But obviously, you can't play footy like that for 4 quarters. So it was nice to slow it down a little bit, change a bit of pace, and unfortunately, me and Hutto had to come out for a bit, but we should be fine. So that changes the way we play football.
These fans will be happy about the win, but they're all wondering right now, how is Charlie's calf? How is it?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I've never really had a soft tissue before, and had a little bit of awareness, a little bit, in that first quarter. So we'll see how we go. It looks like it's going to be pretty fine going through the next couple of weeks. So looking forward to getting out against North Melbourne next week.
So you will play next week. Was it more precaution? I mean, was it just because you were up by nearly 50 points at half time?
No, not really. Look, as I said, I've never really had a calf issue before, and a soft tissue has any sense, and I can, fat a little bit. So, just got to be really careful with these things, I think, and go from there.
Well, we look forward to seeing you back out there next week. Thanks, Charlie.
Cheers, thank you.
So it's a comfortable win to the Blues over in the West. And good news for Carlton supporters, I suspect. No great concerns from Charlie Curnow talking about that troublesome calf. We hope it's okay and he'll be back in action again next week. How quickly a week rolls around.
All right, there we go, folks. There we go. Can you believe it? He kicked the goal. He got you the goal. Was it Jack Williams, his name? Jack Williams. I tell you what, 34 seconds to go, Jay. And he got that goal. I'll tell you what, as you said, I think the one he missed prior to that was about the only opportunity. I saw him have a shot, and then bang, he gets that goal. Hallelujah, hallelujah, brother. Well done, well done. Glad to see you get a winner today for him to get that goal. Fantastic. Always good to see people have a win when they have a little bit of a wager on the footy. That is fantastic. Congratulations to the winners, Team A. Jay, if you really want to share a little bit, you just hit the $sign. That's the super chat, and you just put whatever you want. Cheers, brother. But I tell you what, after quarter time, folks, 6 goals, 9 to the West Coast, 5 goals, 10 to Carlton. So after quarter time, the Eagles actually won, outscored them. There we go. So there you go. Actually, the West Coast put up a good fight in the final 3 quarters. I don't know whether Carlton will be too happy with the way they finished off that game, that is for sure. Once they start and play a real quality side, I think they might struggle. Of course, there was a few injuries out of today's game. Curnow went out, and I think it was Oscar Allen, a couple more. So it was wet, trying conditions out there. As I said, the ball was like a slippery piece of soap. Really, really tough on the players out there today. To wrap up this week's round 14, let's have a look at the goal scorers and recap the stats for everyone. Bailey Williams for the West Coast ended up with 3. Jack Williams, hallelujah, he ended up scoring 1 goal. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're waiting for. Jack Williams and his goal. Elijah Hewitt ended up with 1. Jamie Cripps ended up with 1. Tyler Brockman, that was West Coast. For Carlton, Mitch McGovern, Lockie Fogarty topped their table with 3. Zach Williams with a couple. Corey Durden, TDK, Charlie Curnow, Alex Sincotta were singles. The ball magnets out on the ground. There we go. George Hewitt for the Blue Baggers, 35, top the table. Tom McCarthy, apparently that is the first Eagle for the season 2025 to have 30 plus disposals in a game. So well done. I think he was a debutant player. Well done. 31. He had a cracking game. Good things to come from him. Adam Kerr, next best on 30. They were the only 3 in 30. Harley Reid, look, you know what? He tried today. I was impressed by the way he actually played today. Well done, Harley. Good to see. That's what we want to see from you week in, week out, young man. Well done. 28 touches. There we go. And we'll just roll on down. Jack Graham with 24. Jacob Wheaton was good down back for the Blue Baggers on 23. Paddy Cripps, look, he tried. He tried today. Didn't have it all his own way. He had 21. There we go. Liam Baker was all right in pass for 21 as well. Lockie Fogarty, 17 for the Blues. Jack Silvani, 14 for the Blues. Who else we got there? Liam Ryan, no goals for the Pocket Rocket there today. Just 13 touches, 4 clearances, just the one behind for him. Mitch McGovern was pretty good there for the Blues. 13 disposals, 9 kicks, 3 goals. There we go. Tim Kelly, well, someone said, will he get 10 in the final quarter? I thought, nah, yeah. He'd only had 8 disposals up until 3/4 time. So he only ended up with 10 in total, 2 in the final term. I know. I tell you what, Tim Kelly, maybe it's his last year at the West Coast as well. He really needs, well, I don't know, maybe to hang his boots up. Looking at the team stats, disposals, well, it was about 78 plus to Carlton. As I said, they did most of all that damage in the opening term. 46 inside 50s West Coast, 61 to Carlton, plus 15 there. Carlton were pretty good. Free kicks, all pretty tidy, 19 to 18. So, look, the umpires, I think, umpired it reasonably well today. Can't complain with the umpires today, so that was all right. Carlton were a little bit better in the hitouts, plus 14 there, plus 2 to their clearances for the Eagles, plus 4 in centre clearances, so they did well there. Just a plus a couple in the stoppage clearances to the Blues around the ground. Contested, well, it was reasonably well contested after quarter time, 127-39. Not much in that, just plus 12 to the Baggers, but uncontested, it was plus 59 to Carlton. As I said, they did most of that damage in the opening term with the marks plus 29 to the Baggers. Marks inside 50. Good to see both teams getting plenty of opportunities inside 50 with their marking. It was good to see because Carlton took quite a few of those in the opening quarter. So 10 to 15, West Coast hit back reasonably well there. Tackles, Eagles, they still need to increase their pressure intensity. 40 tackles for a game is just a little bit too low for our liking. Their season average is 58. They need to really start to lift their game, lift their pressure, without a doubt. Carlton, even Carlton was 57. They were under as well today, but it was good to see both forwards there, 9 and 10 tackles inside 50 for both teams. So that was good. Let's go and have a look at the ladder, if that is uploaded. There we go. That has, I don't think that's updated yet, has it? Or has it? Yes, it was. I think it was. Was it? 14, 14, 14. Carlton. I think that's updated. All right, if that's updated, then Carlton sit on 24 points. That's right, 2 games out of the top 8. 106.7. They let a little bit of percentage slip. They could have built on that after the first quarter, and they really needed to build on that. 6 wins, 7 losses now after 13 rounds for them. There we go. So, Carlton fans, you're still within that chance. You're always hanging around that part of the top 8. Sashu, g'day. How you doing? Sashu. Tine. Sashu is saying hello. Or is that Tine? My gosh. There we go. Not sure. Send all. There we go. Hey, next week's. Let me just try and figure out next week's games for you, folks. Let me just bring the fixture up, and we'll have a look at next week's game. I think one of these teams, Carlton and Eagles. I think one of these teams have got a bye, That's right. Next Saturday, 1:20 p.m., Carlton will take on North Melbourne. 10 taking on the 16th. I tell you what, that is going to be a tougher game for Carlton for sure. North Melbourne have been in reasonably good form. And of course, the West Coast Eagles, they will have a bye next week. So West Coast will be able to rest next week. But the footy all kicks off again next Thursday night, folks. The Fremantle Dockers taking on Essendon Optus Stadium in Perth, 8:10 p.m. Thursday night, 8th versus 12th. Should be another interesting game. Bro, these games are, Sashu, this is Australian rules football, AFL football, what a lot of people think is the greatest game in the world. Hopefully you can get around somewhere and actually see it or see it on replay. Actually, if you want to see a little bit, if you go into my channel, one of my vlogs, one of my videos, I actually went to the football and you can see a little bit of it there if you want, Sashu. So I got one vlog when I went to the football. I did a video on that, so you can check that out if you like, and you'll see a little bit of the game. It's a fantastic game. It's a fast game. It's a hard game. It's a skillful game. Play with an oval ball, so sometimes it can be a bit tricky, but it's a fantastic game. And yeah, we certainly love it here in the Lane Down Under of Australia. Yeah, we love our football. It's the number one game. You're a footballer. Oh, there you go. Fantastic. Good to hear the footy players getting in here and listening on in. Good to see. Hopefully you enjoy your football like we all do here. So that is great. That is fantastic. But I think that's about all I got for this. We did have the poll. I tell you what, the poll was very tight. 54% of our poll today in the live chat went for Carlton. I was about 46% went for the Eagles, so she was pretty tight. I think we had a bit of both of Carlton and West Coast Eagles fans in here today, so always great to have everybody in here. Thanks to Shu for coming in. Thanks Tina, of course, JJ. Thanks for coming in, Squire. Well done on your win today. That was absolutely fantastic. I certainly happy that you got that win. We like people to win. Charlie Mello, I go for Carlton. Hey, thanks, Charlie. Aura AFL boy, thanks for coming on in. Of course, everyone else. Ella Rosa, Fly Finney. There we go. There's a new one. The Fentons. Well done, Branko. Of course, Adrian's Sports Channel. B3. Cheers for coming in, Squire. And of course, Ryan was popped in here with Timothy and Nanette, Gisela. Chia, absolutely fantastic to have everybody aboard. All right, folks, hey, that's enough of me for today. That's the end of round 14. Another interesting round of football. Hey, if you're not sure who were the winners this round 14, let me just wrap it up for you. Western Bulldogs defeated St Kilda 132-60. We had Hawthorn defeating Adelaide Crows 47-44. GWS Giants caused an upset this week over the Brisbane Lions 107-96. Geelong shellacking Essendon 151-56. Of course, Fremantle, that close victory at home, just 6 points, 73-67. Fremantle winning by a goal. The other games today, Port Adelaide, too good for Melbourne, 93-68. And, of course, today's game to wrap it all up, Carlton 12-14-86, defeating the West Coast Eagles 7-10-52. It was the Blue Baggers by 34 points, I should say. 34 points. Hey, thanks, everyone, for coming in. Don't forget, if you give it a like on your way out. And, of course, someone was asking about how do you support the channel? You can just support it by being on in here and listening on with the broadcast with us. Being with that, hit the like, share it with your friends, or if you do want to give a little super chat, you can hit the $, and that will take you to a super chat, and you can just put whatever denomination you want to put in there, whether it be, I don't know, $1, $5, $10, $20, $100,000, I don't know. That's up to you. But I don't mind anything you do, even if you just want to hang out with us and have a chat and listen to the footy with us. That's fantastic. And, if you've had a little bit of a wager on the game, we'll certainly cheer you on to try and get your winner up. All right, folks. Hey, that's enough of me from chit-chatting. I'm off to get a coffee now. But thanks, everyone, for coming in to the broadcast today. It was fantastic to have you all in. So until next time, hey, until next Thursday night, the next game of footy coming up. 8:10, I think it is, next Thursday night. That's right, Fremantle, Essendon. Ciao for now, and we'll see you at the next game.